on, I'm gonna get mine. Go do the crime if you can't do the time. Don't tell me how you're off and down. When you're smiling in my face, but you play me like a clown. It's your fool, bitch. So just step back. I'm mad dad when I come down straight. I thought you were my piece, but you play me out. Now I'm mad as hell, and I'm full of doubt. Who you wanna roll with? Who you wanna roll with? Lefty, let's roll. Who you wanna roll with? Who you wanna roll with? Lefty, let's roll. I'm back on the scene, it's time to get mean. I'm a lean, revolution machine. For what people stay, they sway. For today is good as any day. Y'all feel slightly dis, let's resist. Raise your fist and pump like this. Promises all the time. Don't cross the line, but you know it's right. Who you wanna roll with? Who you wanna roll with? Lefty, let's roll. Who you wanna roll with? Who you wanna roll with? Lefty, let's roll.
Live from Trenton, New Jersey. It's the Sativa Cross podcast.
Sharon was
Oh, you're kidding me. Why don't we have our little theme music, Jim?
I thought that was theme music. That wasn't?
Well,
What's the name of that? Was that Who You Gonna Roll With is out there saying?
okay,
Sounds
that's our
what it
theme
sounded
music. This is our bumper music that we talk over. Bumper music. Welcome to the show.
Like. You're Lefty Grimes, and
You're Jim Miller.
that's true.
Good morning. Here with Tony and Ariel and William Haney. Good morning.
Co-conspirator Ken Wolski helps it up this morning. But he actually is a busy man. And that's why I am less busy and have time to do this, because he's off dotting the I's, crossing the T's, and circling the big words for looking into later. I'm going to have to be, I'm going to say this with 95% certainty, that this should be our 73rd podcast since we started in April 2nd, 2015. I'm not pausing for effect. It's hard to remember. Pausing for accuracy. They do that on the news, and I always bitch about it, so I don't want to be talking like that here, where you tell somebody more later. It's always that pause at the end. I really hate that. I don't know. News people listening, it's that and bubbly are two things you got to stop doing. At least if you pause, don't sing and talk at the same time. That's really, 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 three reallys annoying. Are we going to use our radio baritone voices, or Are we going to talk regular today?
Not me.
Wayne Burrini has such a great radio voice. At everybody that I've heard on the show, he has a real, that baritone radio voice.
He's really good.
Yeah. Well, I'm not saying what he says is worth a crap. I'm just saying. Wayne, come on, man. You know, I'm kidding you. Actually, thing is, he's been saying some real important stuff lately, which is saying, what's the next step? I want to get in touch with this person. Is this the person to get in touch with? So, you know, basically, what I'm saying in all honesty is we should, in fact, take our cue from Wayne. I don't know how else to put it, but if you lined up a whole bunch of people and said, who's the first one, jump into action with the pragmatic questions, looking for a solution we can get busy on, it'd be Wayne, you know? Wouldn't even be me. So, Wayne, I'm learning from you, bro. There are things we need to do, and we'll be discussing that today. And people that do need to hear directly from patients. And we'll be talking about that. And then we'll be talking about a whole lot of other stuff, because there's a whole lot of other people talking about a whole lot of other stuff. You've been called some interesting things. I have as well, I think.
Yeah, I'm disheveled, and I look like a bum. Yeah, I look like a bum.
Oh, your program sucks.
Oh yeah, low rated too.
Yeah.
Low ratings?
Yeah. So the thing is, when low rated, if there was a rating system, does it take into account the good that is done by the extra effort to be in the proximity of the people we talk about? Everybody else can go to their garage. They can go to a bedroom studio and wah, 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 wah. You know, the people they want to hear it are not hearing it. We are a known factor here. Somebody we didn't even know walked by and we're setting up and saying, what happened to the Thursday podcast? It's not Thursday. We never talked to him, but he knows we're here. He knows medical marijuana and cannabis issues are represented here. And when they're having committee meetings, this is where the committee members go. So to all you people who have higher rated podcasts, and that's good, you know, and that's really good. And I'd probably be very impressed by your viewership statistics, because if, as an example, if 20 people were viewing this and 200 people were viewing somebody else's podcast, they have 10 times better viewership than us, but it's still just a handful of people who are not going to be active in whatever it is that they're talking about. We get more bang for our buck. We don't need to be good in that sense because we're smart and we know how it works.
And full disclosure, I'm not here for ratings. I'm not here for views. I'm not here for fans.
Well,
I'm here to change laws and help save people's lives.
But why aren't you really gauging our success on, let's see how big a name celebrity we can get to call in or be here? Because actually I haven't begun to work on that yet, and that is going to be happening, but it's also going to be topical, relevant, with a point. Right now is not the time we want to come in with all of our guns. It's an ongoing process. Legalization and improving the medical law, two parallel things, and I don't even know how parallel they are.
The only good excuse to connect or contact any famous people are because they have money to help us keep going, so we can actually help and save people, so no one needs to suffer.
Who are you? This is Tony here. I mean, I'm just thinking you're sitting down in front of the camera. We didn't properly introduce you. Tony Liberty. I love it. You know, I don't care
like
how
the
you're
statue
supposed to.
here every day.
Yeah, I don't care how you're supposed to say it. That's just the name you want to say like that. So you can call me Millar instead of Miller if it meant something good.
Jim
you know?
Millar.
Yeah, if that was, he's a Millar. We're going to get involved now. If that was the case, go for it. So,
to all of you with your high ratings, why don't you come out here and do something with it?
We are also, we're only looking for validation for people who have stories to tell about, especially what cannabis, how it makes a difference in their life. And there's so many registered patients now. Let's start by clearing one thing up. How many patients are in? Everybody give a guess. What do you think? How many patients are in the medical marijuana program?
Right now?
Yeah.
At this moment?
Yeah.
Patients total, I'm going to say like 9,000. I heard there's like 11,000 cards out there.
Good guess. I don't know. I mean, it's a good guess, though. What do you think?
How many cards?
How many patients are in the program? Not even actively using the program, but how many people could walk into a dispensary that didn't need appointments and
That's probably up to like 11,000 because you got caregivers.
All right, so I'll go 11,001, Tony.
Okay.
Like the old game show game.
I'll go 10,000. Well, in that case, I'd have to say 1. and I would win. And the reason I think I would win is...
I'm always the loser.
Now, how many patients did you factor in that have passed on since they got their card?
They say 10% or something, don't they?
Well, it was 10% in one particular year.
1 year.
Yeah. So that's why I thought you had a good guess. You had 2 separate numbers. One seemed to at least imply that, and I know you think the same thing, but the reason I'm asking isn't to teach you guys. It's to let anybody else know with an earshot that when you hear somebody saying there are 12,000 people in the program, they are not counting people that are alive. They're counting people who have died, people who just got a card. They're counting people that got a card and never once got their medicine, whether they couldn't afford it or
there's
died.
people that died with the paid for the
Yeah,
card, went through the program, and never got into a dispensary.
Yeah. So, basically, we are going to hopefully add a whole lot of people to this. The question I haven't been hearing from anybody except like Wayne and a couple other people is, how do we get started on that? Where are we now on that? And I'd like to say we're at a pretty exciting point with the advisory committee a couple of weeks ago, okaying pretty much every indication that was applied for except asthma and chronic fatigue. Everything else they did. And I will always point out while saying this, Dr. Becker, the head of the advisory panel's meetings, the one who chairs the meetings, said he was moved to vote yes on Tourette, even though there was virtually no science whatsoever to back it up, because there is no known medications that help right now. So he based it on the lack, which is when the federal government normally should be stepping in and saying, backing that up, that if there's nothing that will help, you get to go what they would consider extraordinary measures. So that he did that, and he said because it's the humane thing to do. So people cannot say anymore that the advisory panel just this or just that, or doctors this or that. This is a doctor who stood there, spoke specifically about it, and then added that post-traumatic stress. I had, I don't know if you were there at that point or came in after I had spoke. Yeah, I did mention to the panel that they obviously have come to understand the synergistic effect between opiates and cannabis, meaning you don't have to have one or the other. You can use both, and has a synergistic effect. So I treated them like
you can actually use less of both when you use them together.
Okay, that's synergy. Now, the way I explained it to them is the way one might explain it to, say, 4th graders, if they knew what cannabis and opiates were. If you needed 10 units, 10, of an opiate for pain relief with no cannabis, and then if you didn't take the opiate and conversely needed 10 units of cannabis without the opiate, if you took both, you'd need 2 units of each, not 5 of each. You would expect the lowering. The synergy is exactly what you described. You might use 2, and that's just figures to get somebody to understand, but it's the closest ones I could come up with where people say, yeah, I was down to 30, 40% of what I was taking. I'm thinking, see, it wasn't just 50. It went, again, below that. So for people who don't really want the side effect of euphoria, 1, explain it to me how that's possible. 2, you have that option. You can use a little more cannabis and a little less opiate. You could go maybe 5 and 1 or something. Just you find your own mix. And I told Dr. Becker that we're not hearing about that. And if I say that and you say that, people are going to hear it differently when we say the same thing. So you need to speak up about how this works. He added that apparently into answering a question from Jan Heffler for the Philadelphia Inquirer, and made that point in some way, shape, or form. And I thought, he's real,
I give him a lot of credit, because that's when you're saying 5 and 5, but I only need 2 and 2. That starts becoming unprovable science, but it really does happen.
No, actually, there is science with that. It's just it isn't like in the mainstream. The original science was, I think, 2008. And I was at the Patients Out of Time conference at a seminar in California. That's right by Pebble Beach Golf Club. I forget what area that is, Monterey Bay.
He was at the country club.
Yeah, but one of the presentations was about synergy and graphs and charts and 8x10 glossy photographs. That's for Marlo Guthrie fans. But he had all that, and it was put in such a way it was very understandable, but it came from studies that I guess you could probably deem them technically short of proof if one wanted to, but it's
well, the proof comes down to the patient saying, "I feel good right now."
Yeah, well, he did have the graphs and the charts, so it's pretty well known and by people who experience it and people who know them, but we have to make sure between now and the health department's decision whether or not to okay the recommendations and include them or modify the recommendations or whatever is going to be done. Right now it's in Commissioner Bennett's ball field. This is the Commissioner of Health. It's up to her, ultimately, to make that decision. I got a couple of questions for her. Is one, what'd you do today to advance that decision? Because I would appreciate it if Kathleen Bennett understood that no matter what happens, and even if it's okayed, I'm going to have to look for notes and records and things through the Open Public Records Act, likely, on what was done to come up with that. And if I see 2 and 3 weeks at a time with nothing getting done, it's going to be public information then. I will definitely pass that wide and far. She cannot, because if she's going to say our statistics show 500 overdose deaths from opiates in New Jersey per year, that means in a half a year she has 250 people will overdose on opioids, legal and illegal. Now, if during a time period they were taking cannabis too, and 25%, which is the national figure for doing this with other states, if that were true, then 1/4 of 250 people might not die that will die if they don't have this advantage. Now, the clock doesn't start from the moment they start, but the statistics are at least 20% after a year in states that went 25. It's important to note that after 1 year, which is considered immediately, they had a 20% reduction. So even if it was only a 20% reduction, that's 50 people. It's easier math, too. It's 50 people will die that may not have died if they were easily able to obtain cannabis.
So that's 50 people that may die in the next 6 months, while Governor Christie is talking about how to fix the opiate problem on television all day, and the Department of Health is dragging their feet, while we're standing here saying this is how you save people.
And we're the ones saying, speed it up, good, bad, or ugly, your decision's already made, you know it, I know it, we can't prove it. But the only way we can prove it is to come back after the fact. So what I'm saying is, how about each week, if you release who was working on it and how long? We don't have to see the homework yet.
No homework.
But if you're going to do a book report in 6 months, we want to know you're reading the book.
I never did.
No.
Yeah, I don't think they do either.
So we just have to, I am only on Facebook to push buttons, to push people's buttons that really could help, that have something to offer, and just don't realize where to start. But they don't say, I'd like to do this, I don't realize where to start. They say, it's not fair, this sucks, the playing field's not fair, it shouldn't be. And it's all true, but it's not going to be persuasive in a committee hearing. What I'm saying to them is, one, you got to say it more publicly, where people who aren't of the same mind generally are going to take notice. But you have to say it to the right people. And if people consider the right to vote sacred, their right to have a meeting with their legislators, the ones that they do or don't vote for, that's their right too, basically. It's not their right by law, not by statute. But no legislator risks refusing to talk to a constituent that they've never talked to before. If they've talked to you before, they can say, I have 60,000 constituents or whatever it is. It's probably more like 150,000 in each district. I'm not really sure. It's a lot. It's a big number. Yeah, they do not want to ignore a constituent. That's why when I want to get an appointment with a legislator, I find somebody who's a constituent who would like to help get my foot in the door. They write a letter asking for their discussion with me. That's their constituent request. And a legislator then gets to decide whether they want to not consider a patient's original request to meet somebody.
I tried that with Senator Dick.
Cody.
Yeah.
Thank you.
He didn't return my call. Didn't respond to my letter. Nothing. And I live right down the street from his office.
Lack of respect.
Do you have copies of what you sent and when? Like, was it an email?
It was with you. It was with you.
What, you brought it down to the majority office?
Here and
yeah.
Yeah, and he ignored me.
Back it up with an email and a certified letter.
Okay.
The reason is you'll know who signed for it. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I used to do that, and it really helps out to have a certified registered. You get a little green receipt that's signed by whoever receives it. So yeah, and it costs like $3. So
I'll play your game, Jim.
Yeah, the reason I'd appreciate it if you do is I will then help you in the solution when that's ignored.
That's why I'm going to play your game.
Yeah, okay. And then that's good. We meet in the middle. You know, after that. Assume, because if I were a betting man, I'd say you might get ignored. And his office is...
How much you want to bet? Joint? Bet you a joint.
If I was going to bet, it would have to be at least $1 donation to the coalition. And that goes back to pay you for the podcast. So
all right, so here, I'll bet that.
I saw we have a nice donation box for the coalition at the dispensary there at Belmar. It was looking...
You know what I'd like? You know what
it was filling up, too? It was nice.
I don't know if we could arrange this, but... You know, people get in pools for March Madness, you know, and it's illegal, but nobody bothers them. And there's a figure for how many, and also for the Super Bowl. This is true, and everybody knows it, and that's fine. It'd be a lot better if the money, you know, and even the governor realized that he'd like to be able to, you know, to do that. In England, they take odds on anything. So there's people betting money on how long our president will remain in office. No, listen.
We should call him a book.
Wait a minute.
No, listen, bear with me. Bear with me. This is going somewhere. So, yeah, we should. The odds, by the way, are 4 to 5 that if you bet $10, it would be less than a year. You wouldn't even double your money. So they're looking at it that way. But here's my point. To be in a pool, it's not a big deal, even when thousands of dollars are at stake. You know the stakes on some of the March Madness pools. How much do you win? Well, if you win that, $5,000. It's not illegal. It's a big number. So how about a lot of smaller numbers side by side? Like, what if you started, say, 6 months from now, and there's a week, the first week in that 6 month from now period? That's a pool. Throw your money in. If there's only 3 people in the pool, and it doesn't win, you know, so $3 other people can win. So you start looking at the weeks over any period you want, you know, and you can put money in there. And then by the time that week passes, then it goes into whoever, you know. And for doing that, you know, you get a fee, you know. Like
instead of signing squares like in a football pool, we just sign a week in a calendar.
Exactly. And then it wouldn't be like you have to pick a date and that date comes and goes. You can have other dates, but then betting would go only for the week period 6 months before. You can't just see it coming. Donald Trump's going to make an announcement tomorrow. Oh, I'm getting in that pool. No, it doesn't work that way. I'm just saying that we could have a fundraiser like that. We need to have fundraising efforts to support the podcast.
Can we do 4 to 5 on the week and 3 to 2 on a single day, and like roulette? You know, I pick these 3 days.
Why don't you crunch some numbers, Tony? Crunch some numbers, dude. Find out, you know, and then say, how about this? And we definitely have time to discuss it, but we need to do fundraising for the podcast because the coalition is a prime sponsor, but not necessarily the only sponsor. I mean, Garen Angel sponsors by donating magical butter machines, and the coalition, I believe, could be quite easily talked into me taking care of, with Lefty, having a targeted fundraiser, a coalition fundraiser, 501c3 fundraiser, and we could have many avenues. We could simply say, if you can't make it, maybe we have a raffle.
Maybe Lefty and I will do a bikini car wash.
Maybe we have the raffle of William Haney's Cheech and Chong signed medical marijuana coalition for medical marijuana T-shirt. Maybe we raffle that off because we had a successful time before. But Lefty could raffle it off. It doesn't have to be the coalition because there's 501c3 obligations, and one would be to contain that in the state of New Jersey. But as William would testify to, we did quite well years ago, and California, I think, had the bulk of people trying to. Where did the T-shirt go that year, William?
That went to San Francisco.
Yeah. Okay. That was the Berkeley.
No, as a matter of fact, that was done by, I can't remember her first name, but her last name.
We'll make one up.
Her last name was Weber, and she was with the.
French Weber?
She was
Sarah?
with a San Francisco
No, that's from
cooperative
Yeah. Okay.
institution, and she was also from Philadelphia.
Well, somebody from that then has the Cheech and Chong Coalition for Medical Marijuana New Jersey signed a T-shirt.
Well, actually, it wasn't the coalition shirt; it was the Medical Freedom T-shirt.
The Medical
that was
Freedom
signed.
shirt. Good.
That was signed. That we did the raffle.
I didn't win it, so I don't really remember which one it
but
was.
we did the raffle at the Independence Brew Pub in Philadelphia.
And how do you know it was really Cheech and Chong who signed it?
Well, no. Well, here's how it played out.
I mean, anybody could have Cheech and Chonged it, right? No.
It wasn't. It was Tommy Chung who signed it. Cheech did not sign that shirt.
Oh, he didn't sign. Okay. What else am I getting wrong here, William?
Well,
hold up your
No.
hand every time I'm off on a bad path.
It takes five of us to get one story
He's
straight.
letting me go to the edge of the cliff and pulling me back. I don't need to be near the edge, man. Come on. Work with me.
It originally started out.
Yes, it's hanging out, man.
It originally started out where Tommy Chung had just got out of jail.
Yeah.
And he was getting ready to go on tour for
They're North American tour.
the marijuana logs.
Oh,
He was getting ready to go on tour for the marijuana logs. Started out in New York, and the audience were throwing joints on stage.
But-
so what that did was that created a borderline
of
violation.
pile.
That created a borderline violation for Tommy Chung for his prohibition.
Oh.
So, for his probation. So what he had to do was back off of the tour until probation was over and reinstitute.
Well,
And that's what he did.
Well, we saw him.
Oh,
that wasn't part of the.
No, when you
He's
and
telling
I
the wrong story.
No,
But it's about Tommy Chong and marijuana. We've done worse. Come on.
when you and I
Tangent.
saw Tommy Chung
Yeah.
and Cheech, it was the first time that they were getting together in 30 years.
Right. In the United States, in North America, they opened in Toronto, I think, a couple of shows. They came, and we were at their first show. And we got
not only were we at the first show,
we got to hang with
we
them.
were also at the interview in the studio with.
Well, you could
MMR.
look out at somebody else. I know that. I was there.
Jim held hands with Tommy Chong there.
No, we did a routine, though.
Nice.
We did a routine, and I don't know if you remember, as quick as I can tell it, because it is quick, I showed him a picture of Cheryl and me and said that she and you have a nemesis in common, Barry McCaffrey, the drug czar. And he actually growled like that, you know. And then I said, yeah, he accused Cheryl of using Cheech and Chong medicine. And Tommy went, hey, man, hey, man, do I resent that? And I wasn't sure if he was doing a routine or his routine is simply him. And I've come to the conclusion there is no routine.
It's just him.
This is not a routine we're doing here. It's just how
it plays out.
Hey, most importantly, though, that first night in North America, was Dave there?
Was who? Dave? Who's Dave? Dave who? Yeah.
Dave's not here.
Dave was in the house that night. And, it was all the good stuff, like the exact same laugh when Cheech is pretending he just, took a whole lot of something. He goes, like it was good. But we still have that. It could be part of the fundraiser. And don't you think from all the people that weigh in on Facebook, we could do this with them and they could contribute and think of good ways to have it and see it coming?
I have a great idea.
Countdown clock,
Hey, Tommy Chong, we need autographed T-shirts. We're poor.
Yeah. Hey, John Stewart, if you're in town, we could use a big name to get people out.
Bill Maher, we're in New Jersey doing cannabis stuff. Where are you, buddy?
Yeah. Governor Christie, consider it would help you not be the worst rated governor of all time. It's going to be getting near that time, and you could get 10 points just like that.
I don't know about that, but it'll help.
Yeah. Look, I'm trying to talk him into it, man. Come on. He could be listening.
He could be listening.
He could be. I think he watches. I do. I know Donald Trump does.
Donald Trump does watch.
Yeah, he does.
I do know for a fact Donald Trump does watch.
Somebody watching. So what do you think? Fundraiser time, Lefty.
So anyway,
midsummer.
Back to the fundraiser and the story.
Not for long.
I'm gonna keep it short. So after Cheech and Chong had signed the shirts, the game plan was to put them up for raffle to benefit cmmnj.org. Unfortunately, what ended up happening after the very first show that Cheech and Chong had done, Up in Smoke, they decided to be able to create and generate backstage pass so you could purchase the ticket and bring whatever you wanted to bring to have them sign. So that put that project on the back burner. And time has slipped away. And we're to the point now where it's almost 10 years since this situation has taken place.
Stoners.
And the shirts are still intact. They also come with a CD of the entire interview of MMR that took place on the 12th of September 2008. So that is where we stand today.
We are.
So
we're getting there.
We can either try to create a way to generate some funds to help support whatever cause needs to be supported. And what we're looking at right now is we're looking at CMMNJ.
I'll tell you what you're looking at right now.
And Sativa Cross Podcast.
Speaking of fundraisers and low ratings and et cetera, where are the cones? I have a whole bunch of people out in the nethersphere that want autographed Jim Miller cones.
You know what? Why don't I start bringing a few, 5, 6 each day? I want to make sure they're all cleaned up. And Lefty and I will autograph them.
There are definitely people out there that want autographed cones.
And they will come with printouts of pictures of the cone and the governor walking through the cones and what date that was on.
Yes.
And basically they can set that somewhere and realize that that cone was walked right by the governor who had his entire career derailed by cones. See, I said it just like a news person. I see why they want to, when you get to a really fun point, you don't want to get rid of it all at once. And you want to hold it in. What? And boom.
I think that John Stewart should buy Bill Maher one of these autographed cones because one of them has to be the cool guy.
Okay,
here.
now I would see that from that point in a similar direction. I would think that one day perhaps John Stewart will have a delivery of a traffic cone with an explanation and everything else and say, quite frankly, the way he would put up things when he was on Comedy Central with somebody who says one thing and does another isn't a mainstay of our show. We're just not as good at it as him. But it would also come with an invitation for him to come on the podcast, and I know Lefty and I would actually even say, yeah, we won't even tell anybody that you're coming because, this way you can come and do it like it is.
Yeah, so there's not a big crowd or anything.
Yeah, well, there will be, watching it later, it'll become, he could really help. And
John Stewart,
I think
we need your help.
Being John Stewart.
Obi-Wan Stewart.
I think he retired too soon. I think right now he would have all sorts of stuff going on,
I think you would have a good time sitting at this table.
Let's noodle with this, and we'll invite people. I mean, it's going to be a fun fundraiser. We'll call it a fundraiser too, I suppose.
We could call it an FUN raiser.
Yeah, fun. You got to put that.
Yes,
not
exactly.
an FU fundraiser.
Fundraiser.
Yeah.
I like that, William. That's brilliant.
Fundraiser. Yeah.
Fundraiser.
We can have a fundraiser podcast.
Fundraiser. No, just a fundraiser. Fundraiser.
A fundraiser podcast.
Fundraiser podcast. That's even better.
Yeah. Well,
Wow.
that's been in use for a while, the podcast, because it's kind of what you do,
Ooh,
Let's think outside the box always.
I like that.
That's where we live. That's where we think. That's correct. So we'll do that, and the coalition, of course, will. They're going to have something for you pretty quick. It's just the amount will have to be discussed, and we make up the rest to get to a figure that you mentioned, to Ken. And we're pretty excited about having our first targeted fundraiser or fundraiser, either one.
Exactly.
We've been a nonprofit coalition for 11, 12 years now. And I do not recall, unless I had a fundraiser behind my back, I wouldn't put it past them. I think I've been not invited to things before, but this one, we do.
Well, the closer
summer, August, early August maybe, late July.
The closer we get, that's when I want to execute with Preston and Steve on MMR. And bring them up to date with what has happened going back to when we were there, you and I, and take it from there, and let's see what we can do.
Daytime or evening fundraiser? Evening, people can get there. Daytime,
Online during the day, evening.
Well, it should be, I would imagine we can be online at the physical fundraiser as well. I mean, people can then take part in anything where it's a silent auction or something, perhaps. I think we could get some silent auction things, and I think the rules are probably a lot less stringent on that than a raffle, because, it's you say what you'll pay, and whoever says the bigger number gets whatever it is. And, there's little things that I would certainly be willing to put up for auction if I thought it was the right audience. The wristband that was put on Cheryl when she first got arrested in James Rogan's office, coming up on 20 years ago. That little wristband, the kind of thing you get at a hospital, that's was the first controlled substances violation in a congressional office that anybody in the Capitol Police remembered or could find. So it's kind of ironic that Cheryl would be the first one to get arrested for cannabis in a congressional office. But, if it got $10, that's $10. So we get time to look for what people have that they could donate. There's people I know who have what is now artifacts of when cannabis was legal. And I'm not talking about their best old bottles or something, but whether it was just a label from somebody's purchasing cannabis from Merck Pharmaceuticals, as an example. Merck made cannabis powder. I don't think they're really in favor of cannabis right now, though. I think they've kind of gone sour when they made their money on something else. That's right. We have an opioid crisis, and that's part of it. So what do you think of the legalization bill? Let's get right into that. What are your thoughts? Anybody?
5 sugars.
Well, I like the fact, but I'm a little concerned with what's going to end up happening.
Which is what?
With the medical marijuana patients if they are not allowed to be able to grow their medicine.
Well, they're not allowed as patients, correct now, but if the bill that's been put out was passed as is, what you're saying is they would not be allowed to grow it socially or as patients.
That's my understanding.
Yeah, that's correct. That's true. And the concern stated by the senator who posted the bill, Senator Scutari, was that concerns diversion. It was a little unclear. Go ahead, you say it out loud.
You want a drink?
They can't hear.
Drink, coffee, anything?
Yeah, something to drink would be great, thanks.
William?
Yeah. Thanks, Tony. There's intern Tony going for some drinks, you know. You are kind of an intern, Tony. You show up and you do whatever you need to do, and you don't ask for anything till, like, maybe now. What I like about Tony showing up is he couldn't show up the first year he was listening to the podcast. He was pretty much homebound and somewhat bedridden through use of a figure that you don't hear often, 500 milligrams, half a gram of oxycodone or Continent, oxy something, per day. And he was able to, over a very long time, wean himself down and off of opiates, but has he's very open about this because it helps other people understand that he's also done something patients don't ever do. He went back to get some pain relief of the opioid kind to help, because at times cannabis isn't enough. That's not what he did. That was unusual. What was unusual is he asked for 5 pills, and he's not included in that new law where that's all you get is 5 days, because he had a lifetime of OxyContin use, and it's necessary, but it's like for when necessary. He's not. He found a spot. He found a synergistic effect that works. For him, doing that little amount of opiates legitimately for incredible pain, it's not an abusive range. He's good, and I like that he attributes watching the podcast on a regular basis and hearing other people's stories to make the move. And it took him a year. It took him a whole year. And William, we hear so many stories like that. How many times do you think in the last 3 years you've been coming to Trenton? How many stories about reducing opiates have you heard from cannabis consumers? Wow. You can't even guess, right? I mean, if I said plural
thousands,
I would say plural hundreds, and it would probably be thousands, if not all here. The chatter amongst people, I say that in a good way.
I mean, this issue goes all the way back to way back when.
When?
You know about the opiates.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's I've been doing some research, and the problem first started really becoming evident about 10 years ago. And now when you look at statistics, the statistics are in the last 10 years,
they're staggering.
It's tripled and quadrupled. And there are efforts being put in place to deal with that, and that is good. But when those efforts routinely do not include cannabis as an adjunct medicine, that I question the rest of the efforts, because you wonder what else is being left out because of a bias. That people, it's not that they don't think it would help, they don't want it to help. We have a governor in that position. He seems to genuinely want to deal with the opioid problem. Let's give him that. I mean, I know a lot of people would argue that it's not genuine, that he's just trying to improve his failing ratings as governor. He doesn't want to be the worst-rated governor in history in New Jersey, and he's coming close to going out like that. That's what some people are saying. Others are saying, no, he actually cares and he wants to do something, and in your last year, you get to do it because it's not about re-election and doing, other long-range
2 terms
projects.
and you're out.
Yeah, so he's gone. Well, 2 consecutive. Technically, he could run 4 years from now. That would be fun. But what he needs to do beyond that, if he wants to prove, and we're going to challenge him this year, we want to make sure somebody in his circle concerning this understands what we're saying. We need to sit down, talk with them, show them the graphs and the charts and the statistics, and make sure they understand. They need to understand why the advisory panel appointed by the health department and the governor's office had their hand in there. Why did they recommend that this may be used as relief for, what did they call it, chronic opiate abuse disorder? That's
Something like
addicted. They didn't use the word addiction, but they
Right.
called it that, and it was as an exit drug, that you would exit opiate abuse through the use of cannabis. So basically, somebody can say, the only sickness I have is addiction. I'd like to use cannabis because I'd like to stop being addicted, and I'd like to drive my usage down, so that even if I'm taking it, it's just not in an amount that's going to be as harmful as it is now. Now, only if the health commissioner, Kathleen Bennett, okays those recommendations will that happen. It seems the governor should be the first one advocating that his commissioner of health seriously consider this, because it's the advisory panel of doctors that they had get together and go through a torturous process to come to the decision that they think this should happen. How do you go against your own panel, William? How does that happen? I mean, how could that happen? Is there a way you could make up that would be a viable, understandable reason for a health commissioner not going along with this panel of pretty much all doctors, psychiatrists, anesthesiologists, and one guy we call Dr. No because he voted no on everything. One guy. I mean, that was kind of funny. He also, according to what I read in the Philadelphia Inquirer, refused to discuss why he voted no and turned and walked away from the reporter who asked the question. So we have a Dr. No on the panel. It doesn't have the courage of his convictions. And the rest were pretty in sync in supporting just about everything other than asthma and chronic fatigue. Those petitions were voted down. The 6-month clock doesn't start ticking yet. It's in a 2-month process of a public comment period. So we also have to ratchet up our efforts and making sure that patients who comment to us know where to comment to the Department of Health. And not right now, I don't believe, but on the Coalition for Medical Marijuana website, cmmnj.org, this information will be upfront and available, I would hope, this week, because the 2-month comment period is already underway and probably a couple of weeks old. We want to make sure that patients have the story to tell that they would like to use less opioids. And they can do that with cannabis. And now that it's been recommended, they would like to be able to become a medical marijuana legitimate patient due to them wanting to reduce their opioid intake. Oh, the governor's going to love this, right? What do you think? You think he's going to be on our side, right?
We would hope that he would be.
Well, he must. I mean, if he's genuinely concerned, he will be. Ooh, there is a possibility he'll say, I'm not for that.
Well, he may have to. He's going to have to weigh out his options because he has to look at his legacy.
Yeah.
That's what he really has to look at.
I believe you're right.
You know what I mean?
Oh, I do. And I can drop a lot of the facetiousness I've been using the last minute and say, yeah, as a matter of fact, I think that might be the stronger possibility. Who wants to be the lowest rated governor when they leave the office of governor of New Jersey? And honestly, I get Florio and Brendan Byrne mixed up. They're the 2 lowest rated, and it totally centers around Brendan Byrne instituted our first sales tax in New Jersey of 6%, and it went up to 7% under Jim Florio. That's how they earned theirs. How did Christie get his lower rating by even more taxation? No. Everything he does is tax neutral. Ask him if he did have to increase one, he'll lower another. That's what he'll say. So my point is,
it may be because of the way he handled situations and circumstances that took place during his time as governor in the state of New Jersey.
You're actually giving the pragmatic general view very well here. You know, you see it as an everyman sees it. Yeah, it's really something that it didn't take picking people's pockets to get them to not like him.
How about Sandy Hook?
Sandy Hook was one.
Right? I mean, he was going to take care of...
Yeah, it didn't work out.
He was going to take care of the homes.
Yeah. Well,
that got damaged, right?
Yeah, it didn't work out. There was a lot of bureaucratic snafus going on back then, and you can pin some of that on him. He ends up being the buck stops here sort of thing, and
pretty
he honors
much
that mostly. He
and all he cared about was the seasonal revenue.
Yeah. There's a lot of people.
Right?
Pretty ticked off about that, but you know what?
The seasonal revenue that he was looking at was, let's vacation here.
Yeah. What do you think's the number one reason people do not approve of him as governor after all this time? I think it has something to do with guns. I think I can cause gridlock, or somebody can cause gridlock with traffic cones at the George Washington Bridge.
No doubt.
To a political, what he considered foe at that moment, because he didn't. Yeah, but.
Well, he got salty because he didn't like the fact that he wasn't being.
I'm going to stick up for the governor here.
Okay.
You don't hear me say that a lot. I do not believe at all that he knew about the cones going up. I don't think he did. I think he found out about it while they were up. And it may have even been only one day before they all came back. But he knew about the gridlock while the cones were up and said boo about it. He didn't say squat. So he let the gridlock go. Now that is the point that he can say, I didn't know anything about it. I didn't put the cones up. I wasn't involved in the plan. All that is probably true, but he did find out, and he's lying about when he found out. Oh, okay, wait, you can't say somebody's lying. He's allegedly lying. I'm alleging that. I'm not saying it. I'm alleging it, allegedly. That's what I believe. And, I'd be glad I'd be glad to hear an argument to the contrary. And
there's a possibility. There's a possibility of that. But because of all the facts and the media and everything else that came into play, it shined more light on his administration in that situation.
Now, what we're going to do, though, is hold his lowest ratings hostage while we negotiate for a seat at his opioid reduction table. That we can get into the public domain everything we want to without having a seat at his table. But we need to have a paper trail of a first rate effort. So it starts with the front door. We apply to meet with staff members about this, and I have no doubt we will get some sort of meeting. I'll probably drop something off next time I pick up a permit next week, see if I can drop something off at the office, hand deliver it. And we understand that the meeting would not be for responding. The meeting would be for us giving them information and making sure that they understand the overview, and then giving them time to figure out what they think about it and have a second meeting. That's what we ask. And when that's complied with, we're good. Basically, we don't have a vote. And if they wanted to know what's the real purpose of what we're doing, it's to take away their plausible deniability. That when everybody says, holy crap, look how good cannabis is for this, they don't get to say, we didn't know that. They don't get to deny knowing it, not plausibly, because we can say, you do know, and I have minutes that I made from our meetings that you wouldn't let us record for this reason, because then I could simply play it back for you.
Right.
But I did take notes, and we know from FBI former Director James Comey's taking notes on meetings he had that they are actually considered some sort of verification in light of nothing. Someone could say, well, they just made up the notes and knew this was going to happen and play this podcast and say, ha, but no. It's plausible deniability we're after, that we want them to understand the consequences of their lack of action in this area and the consequences of them putting up roadblocks, which the administration has done regularly in this area. And it goes beyond the governor. This was taken out, Payne, as an indication for being in the program during the Assembly Committee meeting, headed by practicing Dr. Herb Conaway, chairman of the committee. Now, whether he took it out because he was made to, asked to, or decided to is irrelevant. He took it out. People have died because of that action. People have overdosed, statistically speaking, because of that action, because we were not in the original states that were studied by the American Medical Association to come up with that now well-known finding of a 25% reduction in overdose deaths due to legal and illegal opiates. We didn't get that benefit because Herb Conaway took it out, and we didn't get that benefit in New Jersey for all the years the program's been open. So theoretically, we could probably come up with a figure somewhere around 500 people who overdosed, because it's over a 4 or 5 year period. I mean, if it's 125 that you would hope to save a year, statistically speaking, statistics provided by the American Medical Association, not High Times Magazine, that if we operate just in that ballpark, somebody could say, no, it's not 125, it's only 50. How do you say only 50 people would not have overdosed? You tell one family of one overdose victim that 50 people is not significant enough to change how we approach this?
One loss is enough.
That's what everybody says. When we can say each year it's 125, it's been going on for about 6 years that people have been getting medicine, actually able to get medicine, 5 years, that we could say 400 to 500 people overdosed because of that decision. And it's not a direct cause and effect that we're talking about. It's a statistical analysis of sort. It's not proof. But that would be up to Dr. Conaway to say why he did it and then say, obviously, it's not proof. But I will not hesitate to make the accusation that decisions that have been made in the past are responsible for more death, overdose death, from opiates than was necessary. And we revoke their plausible deniability is what we do. That's what we're out to do. I don't believe we'll get a seat at the table. Then that means they don't want their plausible deniability revoked. But there's more ways to do that than sitting at their table. We can set up our own table. Every week, we already do that, right? Yeah. Well, we can add stuff to it. We can have more fun at our weekly table and be more direct about our complaints and direct them to the proper person within the administration. It's a lot to do. Do you know, I said goodbye to Trenton when the law was signed. The day the law was signed, which would have been late in 2009. No, actually, well, it was signed in January, but the day it was passed by the legislature, actually that was January as well. So it was early in 2010. I walked out, and I looked up at the State House I'd come to so often with Cheryl and so often to testify, and I said, goodbye, our job is done. How stupid was that? How naive could I possibly be to think it was over then? It was the beginning of the longer fight. Here we are.
Yeah, but you didn't know that at the time.
I should have known that.
Well,
I'm not that naive.
Well, what it came down to, for the most part, with some self-satisfaction also.
Yeah, a relief too.
Sure.
It was the last voting session of the year. We would have had to start over with a new governor if we didn't get it done. There was a lot of relief involved in that passage. And yeah, that's what it was. And I just misplaced that relief.
But, you know, as a human being, we all do this. We all do this.
I want people to rely on my pragmatism and my experience. And when my experience includes stories like that, I would be less inclined to just say, let's ask Jim, he knows how it works. Most of the time I do. I was so wrong about that, and it really affected me more than I thought, because we've been here for, I believe this is the 73rd podcast. We came 21 times weekly before the podcast, picked up the slack and gave us something to come and do other than hold up signs to the same old people every week.
Right.
When you add those 21 times to the 73, I believe, we're up to 95 times I've come to Trenton since I said goodbye just to do this stuff. Then there's the committee hearings in the meantime and other people, a couple of other events that we didn't sponsor. So I've probably been back around 115 to 120 times since I waved goodbye. I wasn't even close to being right. But eyes wide open now. The changes don't come easy.
But it's like anything else. It's learning experiences in life that we learn from, and we build on that.
And what we need to do right along that line is understand when other people have had the experiences we haven't, and build on their experience without having to recreate the wheel. We do not want to have to reinvent the wheel. That this is when I hope one day people do say,
we just want to redefine it.
Say, Jim, what do you think? Or say, Lefty, what do you think? It's sort of like, hey, here's what I think. Do you agree? It's like, well, I don't know. When I first started out a long time ago, and I know people are like, when I first started out, but the fact is I had very few people to ask for advice, and that's all I did was when I had their attention, I said, what do you think of this? What do you think of that? And I took what they said at face value. It's not like I had to change my ways forever because they said so. I'd try it. And I use as an example the time somebody said, Jim, if you're going to be somewhere where a picture is going to be taken and put in a newspaper and you're speaking, if you wore a jacket and tie, it'll look better and more people will listen to what you're saying. Right. And I didn't dress like him. Actually, I did. Only without the don't shoot I'm white shirt. But I've come to believe, obviously here, I can just dress in my coalition T-shirt, but when I go to testify before a committee, I'm going to wear a jacket. I just do. And to be honest, though, Lefty made some pretty good points at the advisory panel hearings when he walked in disheveled, spoke from the heart, and left, and it was really quite effective. I think it was probably because, in spite of the way he's dressed, he made a lot of sense. You know what I mean? So you snuck up on people. You came in and they were expecting something, but the suggestions and the sarcasm were not out of bounds, and they deserved, I think, most of it. And even when they didn't deserve it because of past experience, the advisory panel, in other words, we had no bad experience with them and we didn't know what they were going to do, letting them know there's a little bit of this passion out there is not a bad thing. When it's in balance, it's not a bad thing.
Ed Fortune told me he's a great guy. He gave me some advice on this. He said, instead of dressing all disheveled and wearing my cut-off shirts, he says, come to my court date dressed as Jesus. I said, Ed, you're brilliant. I love you.
Just tell me the date.
When and where.
And I won't come as Jesus, but I'll be there.
It's not like I'm going to say what I particularly think. I'm smiling. But what if would be the answer to pragmatically the point of that would be, what would be the takeaway that you'd like the general public to perceive? The takeaway. The reference more directly spoken would be that Jesus would not want this to happen. If he were watching now, he'd be disappointed. Is there something, if somebody asks you that you'd have a reply.
Well, I mean, I'm probably...
You will be asked.
I probably bathe more than Jesus. I'll say that much.
Yeah, but how does that help Ed? I don't see it being a help. I see it, alienated.
Oh, I see what you mean.
Alienating.
It's his idea.
Lots of people. And I'm not saying you shouldn't do it. I'm the voice of pragmatism here. I want to break it down.
I'm going to show up as Captain Trips if you'll dress up as Jesus.
Captain Trips? What does that mean?
Captain Trips?
Yeah, who is that?
Google it.
Yeah, come on, man.
Oh, that Captain Trips.
No, this is just, it'd be more of a cosmic look.
I think Ed's just looking out for me, for my haters, for a change. He's looking out for my haters, and he wants...
Or he's trying to increase them.
Yeah.
Can I comment on the dress code violation?
Yes, please.
You must. Not only you may, you must.
I must.
You got a microphone, you got an opinion, you speak up.
Because I show up, so I can have an opinion.
That's right.
Oh, ow, is that subtle? That's a subtle burn to the people that talk crap, isn't it, Tony?
Oh, did you hear that neck crack?
Wow.
Oh, that's like lightning bolts go through my body.
Wow. I know what
I
you're
still
doing.
show up.
Yeah.
I got that. I got the reference.
See,
I didn't even sleep yesterday.
No,
and I still showed
if you
up.
want to talk in the religious sense, he was making a crack about somebody and his neck cracked. That might have been like, not a vote of confidence. Go ahead. But God could be watching.
So I took a lot of flack. Not like Lefty takes flack, but I took a lot of flack.
Yeah, you did.
For the Bob Marley T-shirt that I wore to this podcast last week. And
really?
I did, yeah. More than I expected. But let's say this.
Why?
More people spoke about my T-shirt than what I actually said, and that bothers me.
Well, okay. Without saying who, what was the... I'm not saying you can't, but it's probably better not to because it's the same point either way. More definitively, what was it? Okay, Bob Marley, he smoked pot, he sang about it, he was an activist in that respect. What is it? It was that it represented reggae, represented pot, represented Jamaica, represented Marley. Which was it?
I think the angle that they were attacking from was...
People like Bob Marley.
If you're going to represent everyone in America, which I don't believe I do...
Well, if you find a way to...
If you're going to represent the people of America in the cannabis movement with the politicians, that we should be wearing shirts and ties like the politicians.
No.
And I say that is absolutely the wrong idea because we need to show the politicians in the shirt and ties that the quote-unquote dumb stoners know what they're talking about.
If you get them to listen to you, what happens often is they tune you out when they see you like that. I would again be on a parallel course of that and say that I like that Ken shows up in his jacket and tie whenever he does. I like that because that legitimizes us just by him being here.
Well,
every
the
time
thing
somebody
is, though, Ken's not being fake by showing up dressed like that.
People don't know that. They see what they see, and it is the right look. He does that for a purpose, and
we can't all be as perfect as him.
It's I wouldn't. He's be the last one to say he was anywhere near perfect. He
closer than us.
Yes, okay, but since nobody is, it's close to something that can't be attained. It's it's that he gets the respect that he does from people in committee hearings. That when he testifies, people listen with the right vein. When Ken mentions that he was a registered nurse in the prison system, he gets listened to better than us. That's why I was posting on Facebook that I would like to get all the arguments together about diversion, compare them to diversion from alcohol, tobacco, and any other regulated product to both minors and adults whom it wasn't meant for, and present the case. But who presents the case? I'm not the man for the job. I'm not. And I'm not saying, well, therefore it's Ken. I'm perfectly comfortable agreeing on this with somebody like Bill Caruso or somebody from New Jersey United for Marijuana Reform who have lobbyists, lawyers, and the support from the Municipal Prosecutors Association and others, that they can walk in saying, yeah, I'm kind of like you guys. As a matter of fact, I was a lawyer here for the that they know that he knows that they know he knows that they know he knows how it goes. Therefore, when they know he commiserates with us and we agree and he accurately represents our concerns, we are better off than risking anybody saying, hey, man, what gives you the right to tell me what I can grow and what I can't? I agree with that. But it isn't going to sway anybody's mind. If anything, it's going to say that's the kind of arguments they have. I love that the suit and ties of New Jersey United for Marijuana Reform don't shun us like sometimes other people seem to do that are also in the advocacy world who do show up in suit and ties. There's room for all of us under the umbrella, and when we do that, when we come with Bob Marley T-shirts, with Don't Shoot on White T-shirts, and with Bill Caruso and his people, and they're not afraid of us, and they stand with us and say, yeah, these guys are right. That's pretty cool. I like that, and I'm good with that. I don't have some kind of ego that says I would be very good at making the argument for reasons.
Who gave you flack for your T-shirt?
I was just on Facebook.
What are you on, like a forum thread or something? Like,
no, just people giving me shit for wearing a Bob Marley T-shirt.
Why?
No, because I'm representing the people.
Okay.
And I'm a stoner.
The people.
And you know what? Let my final word on this. I don't want to talk about it all day, but my medical records speak for themselves.
Right.
And my medical records, if you look at them, will explain to you just how difficult it is for me to get here every time I get here.
Yeah.
So when I am here and you're not.
Yeah. And yeah. Okay.
I am here.
I'll the next time. That's a soprano.
Oh,
yeah.
And that's the last I'll speak on my dress code.
Okay, it didn't fit, but I want to get one good
Hello,
one.
ladies.
Yeah. And just the fact that you are sitting at the table in front of a microphone says you're welcome at the table, says you get to say what you want, and depending on what you say, you may or may not get invited back.
That's generally how it goes, right?
That's pretty much it.
There's no paychecks here.
But then that you've been welcome since you've been coming, I think should speak for itself and qualify you as being pertinent when you say something like that.
I try to make an effort.
As a patient, as an advocate, as an activist. You're active, you come here. You come here at physical expense.
I do.
You know that when you couldn't come in here, you tuned in. You took part from your home, or at least got something from it.
I still listen to almost every single ode of remembrance from every single podcast Lefty does, because it's something that I've done since I began my recovery 3 years ago.
You just both made us sad by even mentioning that now.
It's real.
I know
it's real.
Well, it is. And for those who somehow wouldn't know, the Ode to Remembrance closes our show. Remember the people who've passed before their time, who were involved either by being a patient caregiver or an activist extraordinaire, and some people were all three, like Roger Barber. Okay, but that's not Ode to Remembrance. That's just shout out to Roger. And if we can't do that with love, appreciation, and happiness, then we're in the wrong business.
We need Roger.
Yeah.
I need him to sue Seaside Heights.
What's that about? Let's talk about that. It's about cannabis.
File the paperwork.
Yeah. What's going on, man? I may describe it as if I didn't know, please.
I need a lawyer to file some paperwork because one day, me, Michelle, and Carol were walking down the boardwalk on the multiple sclerosis walk with a lot of other sick patients.
On the boardwalk where there's concessions and everything, right?
Yeah,
okay.
Seaside Heights, lots of games.
So the park area, they used to have the walk and there's no concessions. That'd be one thing. But there's it's full swing.
Bars.
Okay.
Clubs.
Mm-hmm.
So Michelle was done with her walk. She couldn't finish the whole walk. It was about 3 miles. So we go back to the smoking area, which they have designated with a big sign. Smoking area designated for the boardwalk. It says no smoking on the boardwalk except for this area. So, this is where we can smoke our cannabis. So we all lit up separate joints, and we smoked our cannabis.
Was it on the ocean side of the boardwalk?
No, it's more by the street. It's more an extension of our border where we have to smoke. There's a border we can smoke on in the street.
You know, the boardwalk has been wheelchair accessible for the entire time it's been there. There's a ramp up every, a little steep.
Yeah.
If only Bayonne thought that well.
So okay. Oh. Oh! Give me a finger like that so I can with you. Oh! So, okay, so how'd that go? And Michelle what was her smoking method? A joint?
We all lit up joints, and...
well, it's good because you can't share a joint. You're not allowed.
Yeah.
Even patients.
Yeah, you can't just have one.
No,
the law makes us not be able to have one.
Yeah. So you all were doing that, and what happened?
And the police came over. I should play the tape. The police came over and said, we don't know the law. Literally said they don't know the law, but we do know that you cannot smoke it here. That's what we do know.
So they knew what you couldn't do, but not what you could do.
No,
always.
They didn't know what we could do, what they could do, but they knew what they wanted them not to do.
Okay. So either way, strange as that is, what happened next?
We left. We were like, okay, we're going to leave, but it was very cordial. The cops were very nice about it.
Yeah, at least they weren't at.
And I'm listening to hear
no tickets.
You talk about it, although I did watch the video. How did they? At one point, correct me if I'm wrong. Was that where one of them looked up something on his phone, or was that somewhere else?
Yeah, he says I looked up the law a minute ago, 1 minute ago on my phone, and within one minute he knew all the law.
So basically, he looked up the law on his phone. What, is that not the state attorney general's job to provide this information? I'm surprised he didn't call the state attorney general's office.
No, they're not disseminating that information
office.
anywhere.
No.
They don't care.
I'm building up to something else, obviously.
This is a real fact, I believe. There are police on
an
the
alternate
beat
fact or
in
real
New Jersey.
fact?
A
All
real
facts
fact,
are real. Come
real
on.
fact, alternative fact. You take it any way you want. But there are police in this state right now with badges and with guns in cars on patrol, being paid by taxpayer dollars that do not know the laws that they are enforcing.
Yeah. Well, it's
facts.
Okay, Lefty has proven that's a fact because I've seen it. And it's just not just the raw footage. You can't take too much out of context if it's not cut and, jump taped. And yeah, the things that I've heard and seen on these point exactly to that. We're in Trenton. You were in Trenton. It was a female. What do you call a person you first talk to? Desk sergeant, person at the office. I mean, what is their title usually?
It's usually a desk sergeant.
Desk sergeant. So you could say that, and it would be accurate, or at least it would be an attempt to be accurate.
Yeah.
She was the desk sergeant, I believe, and she didn't know, and at first said, "I'm not going to take my time to read anything now." When you had a copy of the guidelines, and I was a little put off by that, but later. She came back after doing some sort of investigating. Do you know what it was? Did she call the county prosecutor's office or something? Yeah, the Trenton desk sergeant.
Did she call the ROIC? Is that the one?
Okay. What's the acronym mean, please?
ROIC. That's
ROIC?
Yeah. What is the ROIC?
I have no idea.
You know what?
That's why I asked
question.
you. This is how it works.
ROIC.
Okay, okay, never mind. We're getting
that's a good question.
Bogged down
we'll
with
look that up. Yeah, we'll look
minutia.
that one. We should know that one.
The important point is this. She came back and had information, and what she said to you was, I have 8 officers on the street right now that do not know what I'm about to tell you. She was saying her officers she's in charge of don't know this, and if they come across somebody smoking marijuana who has license, proper ID, and all, and everything up and up, that they don't know what to do. I'm in charge of people who don't know what to do. I assume she therefore would then tell them, educate them at least a little bit, and therefore you literally have done the Attorney General's job in Seaside.
What happened in Trenton? They got dumber here in Trenton.
Since
then,
they
have done some really dumb stuff here in Trenton.
So what's going on at the boardwalk? Don't get too far away.
But the boardwalk here. Let me play the actual video. You can listen for yourself here.
So this is not coming up on screens.
New law in New Jersey. You guys have your cards?
Yes, sir.
Let me just see your cards.
Sure.
I don't know what no one's even ever told us the rules about smoking marijuana. We just know we are not allowing it to be smoked on the boardwalk at all.
But they let
marijuana
okay.
or not. You go to your privacy of your car, somewhere else.
Right.
You cannot smoke it out here in public.
It says there's a smoking area here though, right here. There's a
My video died. Sorry about that.
Yeah, let me taste yours.
My video just died. I don't know what just happened. But the cop says we don't know what you can do. But we know what you can't do, and you have to get the hell out of here with that cannabis right now. Just leave. Here, listen to this. This guy is too much.
Since this is a very new law in New Jersey, you guys have your cards?
Yes, sir.
Or just see your cards.
Okay, he didn't say a new law. He said a very new law. Okay? He said a very new law. Not just a new law.
It's a very new.
A very new law.
It's only about 7 years old.
So, very new. Okay, I'm thinking yesterday.
Yeah, it's
day
a new
before.
old law.
Very new is like freshly made. Like
Parents out there have 7-year-olds that are like, my 7-year-old is not very new.
very new.
What?
Yeah. Wait, what?
What?
Oh, I'm thirsty.
Sure.
I don't know what no one's even ever told us the rules about smoking marijuana. We just know we are not allowing it to be smoked on the boardwalk at all.
But they allow
Medical marijuana
okay.
or not. You go to your privacy of your car, somewhere else,
Right.
you cannot smoke it out here in public.
It says there's a smoking area here though. Right here. There's a sign.
For smoking marijuana, it's not.
It's for tobacco, right?
That's good demeanor here. This is not giving somebody an argument. It's having a discussion, and you've been accused of that. And why do you go to argue? You're simply pointing out. You say you can't smoke here, and you go, well, it says smoking area. That's perfect.
Yeah. They said I was rude. I wasn't rude.
No. Okay, for people who thought that was rude, screw you. Now, see, that's rude.
You want rude? I'll give you rude.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I thought that was a very adult disagreement on the subject.
And it had to do with that he said, you can run it back again and just play it and listen to it.
Just know we are not allowing it to be smoked on the boardwalk at all.
But they allow
Medical marijuana
okay.
or not. You go to your privacy of your car, somewhere else,
Right.
you cannot smoke it out here in public.
It says there's a smoking area here though. Right here. There's a sign.
For smoking marijuana, it's not.
It's for tobacco, right? It's not covered by the Clean Air Act.
I looked it up on my phone.
Right.
It says you're supposed to be as discreet and private as you can. You can't
Right.
smoke in a recreation area, by a beach, on a school bus, etc.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
Like you said, we don't allow it on the boardwalk. But that's why I looked up just about a minute ago.
I just looked it up a minute ago, he says. Just a minute ago. Now he's an expert after a minute.
It's a sad day in America when trying to validate and hold on to your rights is considered being rude.
Yeah. Well, the officer didn't consider Lefty rude. I didn't hear.
No, it
anything
wasn't the
about
officer,
that.
it's the people.
And the officer wasn't rude to Lefty. It was.
Not at all.
I thought it was a very fair interaction that would be unnecessary if the Attorney General did his job.
Really?
Oh, come on. No. Oh, for that.
Oh, let's call him up.
Oh.
No. Let's do front. We haven't had proper front door. I mean, I mailed. I sent an email. I haven't even done a follow up. You got to push me on this. You really do. I'm unreliable if I'm not pushed.
I like
which makes me reliable to get stuff done because I ask to be pushed.
I like calling people though.
Yeah,
You know I do.
But if we get a few in the pipeline, when you call, you'll be able to say, you received an email on the 18th, you received a follow-up, you had a certified letter, and I'd like to know why you haven't answered.
There you
You
go.
see, then you got everybody on your side.
It's kind of what they just did in Harrisburg, didn't they? Where they kept trying to get with that one senator, and they finally had to go sit down in his office because he refused to meet with them. And they had the track record to show. We've tried to get a hold of you 1,000 times, whatever.
And Kyle
That's
got
the
arrested.
right way to do it.
Didn't Kyle get arrested?
That's how I saw that.
Kyle got
He's the man.
arrested. We love Kyle. Good
Kyle
for you.
Moore.
Heroes in Harrisburg.
Well.
So they allow tobacco here though, right?
Tobacco, yes.
Okay.
Tobacco, yes. Cannabis, no. Go over there.
Take your cancer-causing weed here.
Yeah.
Take your cancer-curing weed home.
You know, he did say be discreet as you can or as possible, and it's sort of like, well, this is as possible as we get discreet. You should know us. This is way more discreet than we usually are.
There's no bong.
Let me verify that with pictures, charts, and graphs. Look, we are the rudest people you can imagine. You're getting
Subtle.
the best of us here.
We are very subtle.
Yes.
But that's true. You actually were complying at the time and could prove it in a court of law. I mean, if that was the law, be as discreet as possible. Well,
So they allow tobacco here though, right?
Tobacco, yes.
Okay. Because
Areas.
the Kuma law says we can smoke cannabis wherever you smoke tobacco. That's why it's a little confusing for us as patients. Where do we go?
Just do us a favor.
Sure,
Just
whatever,
Make
yeah.
our lives easier.
Sure.
Okay, make our lives easier. I love that line.
Yeah, it's a classic.
I could talk about that for a while.
That crosses into where I could start calling the cop a jerk, but I won't.
It's just ignorant. It's just ignorant. That's all it is.
You know what? It's a flippant comment.
Yeah.
Not really meant. It was like, okay, me coming home from work one day, and I'm going in taking care of Cheryl, and I walk in, I go, oh man, my back really hurts today. Okay. She can't move. She's in 10 times the pain I would be in, and I'm complaining to her, or when I broke my feet, somebody else might say, man, my ankle's really sore. I'm like, yeah, you got my sympathy. Oh, sorry. So I think it was along those lines. It was
wait a
just
minute. Wait a minute. Would you ever say that to Cheryl? Would you ever say, hey, Cheryl, make my life easier? Would you ever say that to her?
It would make her smile. I got to qualify it.
No. That cop shouldn't have said that because he's talking to somebody who's dying.
I do agree, but, I'm not more devil's advocate. I think in the discourse of his duty on the boardwalk, it came out.
If you step into his shoes, he's a man at work that's like, man, I got to deal with these stoners today.
Quite frankly.
And I'll give him that one.
I get that.
If you just as easily and smiled and said, boy, I'll tell you what, I'll make your life easier if you could make my life 1/10 less painful than it is right now. Let's trade.
Oh.
Yeah, right. There are all the inferences. And
well, next time we'll say that.
Yeah, but there's a way to...
Maybe the officer will see this, and he'll see that we cut him a little slack, and he'll remember next time.
If you just looked and said, just so it's clear to you, I'm in an immense amount of pain right now, to remind him where the playing field is at that moment. But you did make it easy for me in the end. You did. And that kept relations open. But apparently I don't feel like we're in that direction now because he wants a lawyer. So let's move along to the next part. Why the lawyer?
It was all cordial to the lawyer.
Yeah, it was all cordial to I'm going to get my lawyer, but I'm smiling, dude.
This is all part of the kind of campaign with Mike Alonso. Mike Alonso, the 31st District Assembly candidate for Republican, is a cannabis patient and who can legally smoke cannabis on the campaign trail. First in the United States. Nobody's ever done this before. What he wants to do is walk down the entire length of the boardwalk in New Jersey smoking cannabis in the smoking areas where he's allowed to appropriately.
So you're talking about supporting him.
And we need a lawyer in case he gets arrested or has a problem, and we want to sue any township that gives us a problem medicating in the smoking areas.
Can you imagine if they arrested an assemblyman on the campaign trail?
I think the assemblyman can arrest that. If it was me, that would probably be my goal.
Yeah, I think that might be.
Well, I'm not taking away from...
I don't know.
Look,
he's a sick man.
My goal was getting arrested 3 times in my life, and I was successful all 3 times. I'm not saying it in a bad way. I'm saying what a great innovation. I mean, I probably would do the same thing if I were running for office, as I did 10 years ago. I ran for state senate, but I wasn't a patient. And...
Imagine.
Yeah, that's
it's incredible.
But now you've taken a lot of heat for that. I've read some Facebook threads.
No, it's just one person, Jim.
A lot of heat from one person?
It's just
How do you know? Okay, in that case, how do you know it's a person?
I know who he is.
Yeah.
And Ed Fortune also hates him too. I'm just saying. And it's just one person, and I'm letting him speak.
Yeah.
I'm letting him go because I want him on the podcast. I want a foil. I want an evil villain that we can call at any time to mess with.
Your reaction to everything he said was in bounds. You gave no reaction that would say he wouldn't want to come on or shouldn't.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact,
didn't attack him at all.
As a matter of fact, he called you some names and said,
yeah.
well, bear with me.
Big time.
No, he did.
Yeah.
Whoa, stop. I'm not done. It's like part of a joke and you're talking about the middle, You're like hecklers. And I got nothing back at you.
Yeah. I'll be intern today.
Good point. But if you come to here right, you'd cover it up. No, I got nothing. Oh, I'm done now. Now you got to ask. Now you got to ask polite.
Please,
broke the wave.
Please.
We broke the wave.
Sorry, Ariel.
Please, what? Remind me what I was talking about. Come on, work with me.
You got me.
No, it's
wonk 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 wonk.
That you replied when he said something about the low-rated show you want. Now, that comment about the show really hurt, about the podcast. So he was being called all these things and
piece of
and
crap,
all that.
loser.
And then when it got to that, Lefty weighed back in. Now that really hurt.
How dare you say our show's low rated?
Don't you talk about my ratings.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're award-winning.
Well, okay. And only brief sidebar ratings. More legislators know about our show than any other podcast show, radio show, or anything going on. They know more about what we do than what anybody else does. So we're trying to
Christie
affect
said he
legislators.
loves us.
Yes. That he
Did he
loves
really say
Phil.
that?
Yes.
When?
I have video of
When
it.
did he say that?
He said at the last podcast.
Was he serious or was he just saying
All
like
right.
a jerk?
He looked serious. Okay, the context. You need context. He had arrived. Lefty said, we want to say goodbye. You might be going to Washington, and we don't know if we're going to see you again. And the governor said, well, I'm not sure if I'm going anywhere now. He's walking in, but slow. Lefty shook his hand, all that. Then as he walked by Lefty and got to me, he said, like, I love you guys. I love when people show up who are passionate and care to show up, you know. And then,
Show up?
I had to tell him, I said, last thing I said to him, I shook his hand and said, I'll tell you one thing. You are a good sport walking through the cones all these times. You know, in other words, the cones weren't up then. And then I told him, yeah, the cones are for sale, by the way. We're done with that. So I said that after he said he loved us, though.
Autograph cones available.
Yeah, we're going to do that. We're going to autograph. There's probably about 30-some left, and it'll come with everything. And
we should auction one.
yeah, it'll be something plus shipping and handling. Yeah, they're free, but the shipping and handling is going to kill you.
Auction for the shipping and handling price.
That's going to cost you. You know, we're both going to handle it, so we charge twice. You know, he signs, I sign. It
takes us months to ship anything.
It's all fundraising. Right now, we are fundraising to keep the podcast going. The coalition's making their donation soon, almost immediately, I understand. And then we're going to need plans for a targeted fundraiser the coalition can either arrange or take part in, and I would be their point person on that. And I'm pretty excited about that. It is going to be a fundraiser.
Oh, I have it.
All right.
So that's actually root beer. That's not beer. It's root beer. Okay, good. I'm rooting for you.
I'm just getting the video up here.
I'll tell you.
There's another one if you want. I know you're enjoying that
coffee,
though.
Is iced coffee? Iced coffee?
It was iced coffee, yeah.
I take it little sips at a time.
Okay, I want to thank...
The South Jersey boys are here.
Yeah,
it's nice to see South Jersey representing. Some South Jersey people missing, though.
Patient supporters.
Patient supporters.
Yeah.
We're very patient. We support.
Well, talking about past supporters, Colleen Bagley may be coming here with her mom today or next week.
She's out? Yeah.
Yeah, she's staying at her parents'.
Really?
And mom wants to bring her by the podcast.
Oh, wow, cool.
Which is, you know.
Wow.
You know,
It's
been over a year.
Here's the governor's video. Here it is.
Governor, it's our last podcast of the year. We probably won't see you anymore this year, but...
Well, good job, fellas.
Yeah, thank you, and good luck down in Washington,
Thanks for your hard work. Well, we'll see. I'm not going anywhere.
I gotta say, you are good.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Listen, I love you guys.
I love you guys.
Come back. I love guys who care about something or willing to come out here and fight.
You know we do. Oh, he's gonna love us a long time this year.
Love you long time, Governor.
Well, I mean, long time, 33 weeks. Come on. I know what you're talking about. 33 weeks is a long time.
Probably won't see you anymore this
Slightly under gestation, I think.
down in Washington,
Your hard work. Well, we'll see. I'm not going anywhere.
I gotta say, you are good.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Listen, I love you guys.
We may be back next year.
You come back. Come back. I love guys who care about something or willing to come out here and fight.
You know we.
Boom. Boom.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So here we are. We're here actually just to make the governor happy.
Yeah. We're here as the governor's little entertainment.
Request.
Yes.
You know, it was almost a request. You're right. It was. We got Laura Carter in the house, don't we?
Hello. Laura. How are you?
Why don't you come over and sit in Tony's seat?
Yeah.
And get them headphones on and tell us what's going on in your world, which
Yeah,
overlaps with our world with ease.
Hi, guys.
Hi.
How are you?
Okay, and for those that don't know Laura, why don't you either Go ahead.
Yeah, Laura, who are
Do
you?
your
What
job.
do you do?
So I'm Weed for Warriors Project New
Yeah.
Jersey chapter. I started that back in December.
You're not doing. You're doing this for your brothers and sisters too. You are a veteran.
I am, and actually,
Yeah.
my brother is a veteran as well.
Your literal brother.
Yeah, my little brother, and he is 100% PTSD disabled.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
Sorry to
so
hear that.
yeah, so we're trying to get him on the program. He's in Florida right now, so they have it's a little different down
Why
there.
is it? And what's different down there for him?
I'm not really sure. I don't know how exactly their program works. We're getting him involved with the We for Warriors Project, North Florida. There's a chapter, so he's going to be, with them and, figuring it out. He's also moved a lot, so it's hard to become a patient. And then, you're in Jersey, so it's a waste when you do move somewhere else. It's not, reciprocal. So, just trying to figure that out. But also the Women's Veteran Collective, we have next Thursday, we'll be in Dover, Delaware. We're doing the Women's Grow. We have our own panel.
Women's Veteran Collective.
Yes.
I love the sound of that.
Yes. So we started out as 4, female vets we're Delaware, New Jersey, and New York. And we actually just picked up 2 more vets that are helping us. We're the founders kind of trying to get everything started. Yeah, so...
Have you had much resistance from male veterans? Why do you have your own group? I mean, and there's good reasons, and I will name some myself.
Yeah, not yet.
No.
Not yet.
Well, it may well be very easy for veterans to understand why some of the, I would venture to say, some of the post-traumatic stress that female veterans have are more directly related to being female that their male counterparts might not have, and it's not because you're women. It has to do with things happen sometimes that I don't think people would be too proud about in the military.
That's true. So
it's a delicate. I don't know how to even phrase it.
Yeah. So one of our biggest issues are military sexual traumas. We call MST. So that's huge for females, in the military.
That's what I'm talking about. But
yeah.
you say it way better than me.
Yeah. So there's that. But then also people don't realize that for women vets, the challenges that we have, we're just caught up with the men and homelessness and not being able to get jobs, and there's a lot going on with us. And also because we only make up less than 10% of all veterans, there's not really good services for us in place. So that's what the Women's Veteran Collective is trying to do, is trying to get us all together so we can get these services. And it just so happens that we're all cannabis activists. So there's that.
I thought there was more women homeless per percentage of.
It might be. I know it was like neck and neck that we were on the rise. So, yeah.
That's a bad race to be in.
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
How long has this been going on? I mean, it's I don't think we've known each other more than a couple of months.
The Women's Veteran Collective?
Yeah.
So I think I started We for Warriors before Women's Veteran Collective. I met Trace off the High Times Roundtable in Philly back in November. And actually she was the first female vet that I actually knew, outside of the, military. We just don't, I don't know, maybe we just don't talk about it that often. Like, hey, I'm a vet.
Yeah.
So she was the first female vet that I really met outside of, people that I've known that I was in with, I was in the service with. So once I met her, we kind of, started talking about our issues, and it was really comforting to have another female vet. I've known a few male vets, with Leo and Phil, and, but we just got talking on our issues, and she had a bigger vision of, we can actually do this, and we can make a group, and, we can start like this healing process. So then we met Kim Petters in Delaware, and, she's doing so much. Like, she just got the House bill passed. It's called the Bravery Bill in Delaware. So now in Delaware, they're for the medical marijuana program, you don't need a psychologist to sign off on PTSD. You can go to your primary doctor, which is what most vets do anyway.
Yeah.
They don't really have many psychologists on the medical marijuana program, so it was a real challenge for them to find a provider to sign off on, becoming a medical marijuana patient. So that just got passed last week. They actually didn't pass it, and then there was so much backlash and everything like that the next day they came out and said, okay, you know what, it's passed. So she's doing a lot of like really great work in Delaware. And then we have Sarah in New York, who also she's leading a lot of rallies. You might have seen her. She did the march a few weeks ago. She led the march in New York. It was a cannabis march that she did. But so we're all kind of doing a lot in our own states, and now we're trying to put it together. So
well, you got all the pieces.
Yeah.
You know, and it seems like you're on a pretty direct path.
We are. We should have our, LLC and our 501(c)(3) soon. So once that happens, we'll be able to do a lot more. We're a little bound right now with not being able to really collect money and, So
well, if you
coming.
find out some way to do that we don't know about, we are a 501c3 and we're still not very good at it. This is probably something else where you could be giving us legitimate good advice in short order, and we will be taking it. That is a fact, It's I love seeing when somebody sees a void in the overall scheme of things and can take part. That's exactly what you've done. It's like a lot of times you are running so parallel to somebody else, you can simply join their organization, rise to the top, and be heard through that way. But if there is no organization for you to join, those that say, well, then we should start one,
yeah,
and kudos. That's
yeah,
awesome.
and that's really what happened. I had some problems. Actually, Lefty helped me out last year. I had some problems with the veteran office in Trenton.
You might need her to sign a statement about this for people to give you crap saying Lefty
No,
helped.
he really did. So I had a problem with a Trenton Vet Center. That's here. It's a whole. It's a whole thing. So
right.
Lefty really helped me out with that. He made some phone calls. Like Lefty does.
Oh boy.
And
he loves making the phone calls.
He does, but and
Sometimes.
it was so needed because I was beside myself with everything that was going on, and it was a really bad time for me.
That was some bullshit.
So it really was. So from that, I said, man, like we really have a lot of problems as vets. What's going on? So how can I fix this? So I was like, well, let me start a group and try to get vets together. And then I was like, well, I'm into this cannabis thing too. Like, how can we link both? And then that's when I found out about We for Warriors project, and I was like, can I start my own chapter? Like, I didn't even know what to do, know. And that's how that kind of started. And it's become a lot bigger than I thought it was. I thought I was just going to have like this little monthly group and, we'd all come together. And
no, not
yeah.
Does,
and then
doesn't work once you find out how effective you can be. A little monthly meeting.
Yeah.
See, that's sort of something we all have found out at one point, that when you can be effective, if you don't be as effective as you can be, one day you look back and go, why didn't I do more? And you're not going to look back and do that. You're not going to look back and do that, and I hope I'm not either. It's a cautionary tale to other people. If all you can do is help Laura or help Lefty or help me, and that's all you can do, and you do it, you're doing all you can.
Absolutely.
In your case, there was a void that you particularly could help fill, so you were, in effect, drafted.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Drafted by the necessity.
Yes.
And, just one more nail in their coffin, theirs being the prohibitionists, It's so tough knowing that, for me, that we're right. And we might not always be right about technique or degree, but we are right.
That's true.
And we have to just, I think we are such open thinkers as cannabis consumers. It's been described to me as, and I don't disagree at times, as trying to herd cats. When you like cats, it can't be done. But in spite of that, when people fill that void, when they know and are anxious to do that, it just makes it easier to have another piece of the puzzle. And what's fun is you don't even know how many pieces to the puzzle there are.
Yeah, that's really true. Yeah, and we're providing a service by, leading people, like giving them the cannabis education and also, program tips. Like, this is how you get into the program, and, this is how you become a medical marijuana patient. A lot of people don't even know where to start.
They don't.
And it's confusing. And the Department of Health website, where you go and find the medical marijuana doctors, I've called almost every doctor on that list myself just to get information, and a lot of them don't take new patients, or it's a mess.
Well, we had somebody, or we didn't have somebody. Somebody decided to, a long while ago, call all the doctors on the list and found out exactly what you just said, but had the numbers and how many were not taking patients, were on the list, wanted to be taken off the list and wasn't. And that whole problem of the physician registry, I don't know that other states have that problem or not. I should know that, but I don't. I do know that that's the one of the biggest things in preventing the program from working to its maximum benefit. Now the story is the physician registry was to prevent doctor shopping, and what it's done is created doctor shopping.
You have to.
And by doctors, and if I say Dr. Medvosky is one of those doctors, it's the same problem for a doctor when they are recommending to their own patients and it's working, and then somebody that's not their patient shows up and says, my doctor's not, will you take me on? How do you say no when you're a doctor, knowing how good it can be? This person needs help, you're a doctor, and it does them harm to say no. First thing, a doctor, Hippocratic Oath, do no harm. And by lack of action causing harm, they're in a little sticky wicket themselves at times, and good that there are. But I'm just saying, if it was to prevent pot doctors, then we should go revisit that and say, if that's why we did this and it's doing the opposite, then we should get rid of it, and then people won't have to necessarily go to another doctor. They can ask their own. If their own doesn't know enough about it, then they can.
Right.
But first option should be your own physician. So you're saying that this is going to be able... I want to make sure I don't confuse what's going on in Delaware with New Jersey, because some of them are all exactly the same. That now you don't need a psychologist to get into the program.
The way I think that it works in Jersey is that most of us already have our PTSD diagnosis either through the VA or, from somewhere.
Yeah.
We already have that diagnosis. So basically the doctors in New Jersey are just taking that diagnosis. They're not diagnosing us.
Right.
They're just saying, okay, they see that another doctor acknowledged, yes, it's PTSD, and then they prescribe.
Well, it just makes perfect sense.
Right. But in Delaware, the psychologist needed to sign off on, it was a little different. Like, it wasn't like they were just taking the paperwork from the VA and saying, okay.
They had to put their own reputation
They had to put their
online.
own right.
Yeah,
exactly.
well, and thinking as a doctor, it's sort of like, well, now I don't want to let something get through. Now I got to confirm a diagnosis and then put my stamp on it.
Right.
And it takes time. It's unnecessary cost to somebody, whether it's insurance or not.
It is. Well. And the program is so expensive. I mean, we've had doctors that, having to go every quarter, once a quarter, I don't know. I just think that is so,
Well, it is. If it's onerous, this is supposed to be the way it works out, that you can make your case and you have physical history of here's how it's worked out till now. But as I'm sure you're finding, it's just not that easy, that part of it is getting a foot in the door,
Yeah, that's a big portion of it.
And being, then you might have already also noticed being a veteran is a big plus when it comes to doing that.
It is.
And I shamelessly team up with Philippe Dumais.
Yeah.
we the odd couple. For whoever wouldn't know, the first time he came in with me, we went to the deliver letters to his Senate Majority office, and he ran into the Senate Minority Leader Tom Kane, and Philippe was in uniform. He was easily identifiable in the hallway, and when I introduced him to the Senate Minority Leader, he couldn't be too busy doing anything else, And we have actually a standing offer to have an appointment with him. But what nailed it for him is when we walked into the Senate Majority office and to deliver a letter and ask to see somebody about something in the Majority office. I was told quite definitively, well, we can get this to where it's going, and you can make your appointment later if that be necessary. And all right, but you're asking a combat veteran to leave unattended as well. Really? Well, hold on a second. And she virtually ran out of the office, came back. Here, let me show you to a conference room. Somebody will be right with you. I'm like, okay, we go together from now on. Because once in the with that appointment, we actually make it quite a formidable team that it's all on him, but he gets to verify anything he needs with me as his source of information fully present. And it really worked well.
Works,
we have solid contact there now. Yeah. And it's because of Philippe and the fact that he's a veteran. So, like you were saying, a lot of times you don't talk about being a veteran. It doesn't come up, or maybe women just don't do that as freely as men do. But as an advocate activist, you kind of need to know when to lean on that, too.
That's true.
So
I kind of forgot about it. Like, I haven't been a vet for a long... I mean, I've been a vet for a while, so it's kind of like, I don't know. We don't really have military bases around here like that. Like, we don't really, like I said, we don't really run into too many vets, or like I said, talk about it. So, and then last year when the PTSD was passed, that changed everything. I was like, oh, wow. Like, and I watched Phil and I watched Leo, and the work that they did. And I was like, wow, like that's really, it was inspiring how fast that, it really moved and the PTSD got passed. Like that was really good work that you guys did.
Yeah, we hammered that for a long time. We dedicated the year to it. A lot of other things, but PTSD was front and center. Right alongside the needs of children that were not being met, and the Barber family and all. And it took so long for the governor to sign it, as it did with the children's bill, too. That was 137 days. I don't know how long the veterans took. It took as long as he could without it just automatically becoming law. And then he kind of okayed it. But it was... I don't know if it's the right thing to say that I felt a sense of pride and accomplishment at that point, because I consider that to be a little more, I don't have that kind of ego very prevalently. But it turns out that sense of pride has only served to keep me motivated. It showed me we can have an effect.
We need victories.
Yeah.
This is a long road.
And that people just really hitting it, staying with it, staying on it, and not going away. Go away and come back. Go away and come back. Where's that appointment? Where are you? And then looking for ways to draw people in that would like to take part as you're doing. Yeah, a little bit of pride and accomplishment isn't a bad thing. And it also serves to show other people what can be done if you keep showing up. Look, the governor, it got him to love us. Actually, if you cut that tape off right then, it ends with, oh, man, I love you guys.
That's great.
Cut it right off there.
You need to make a commercial with that.
It really is. It also shows why we come do this here instead of the comfort of somewhere where patients could medicate at the studio, at somebody's office or garage. We could do this easier, but not more effectively, I don't think.
I have breaking news, bad news. The Vermont governor vetoed the cannabis legislation. Yes.
Which legislation for legalization?
The legalization of cannabis in Vermont will not happen. The governor just vetoed that bill.
Was that expected?
I don't think so. The governor said he was not philosophically opposed to cannabis, but lawmakers have to address certain issues before committing the state to legalization. He was concerned about highway safety.
What is his name, by the way?
Governor Scott.
Okay.
Concerned about highway safety and the children, of course, the children. Protect the children.
Yeah.
Okay. There you go. Breaking news.
Well, if you really want to protect the children, it's... I know when I first heard it, and I hope I get it right in linear fashion this time,
This gets better.
Okay, we're not done with this.
Oh, my God. Oh, no. Wait a minute.
Read it out loud or shut up.
This is ridiculous. I'm gonna throw up. The president of Smart Approaches to Marijuana, Sam, released a statement responding to the governor's decision.
We commend Governor Scott for vetoing S-22 and backing patients, teachers, doctors, and law enforcement across Vermont who are working each day to make our communities healthier and safer. Mac, mac, mac.
That was Sam President Kevin Sabet.
Vermont already decriminalized marijuana years ago. This bill was designed to be a gateway for the full-scale commercialization of another drug in Vermont. Mac, mac, mac.
Sabet added.
But our work is not over. There will be special sessions next month to discuss a path forward. We'll be working very closely with our allies to make sure any piece of legislation does not allow big marijuana to come to Vermont. That's Kevin Sabet.
He's right that their job's not over, and we're going to see to it. Their job's not over till we say it's over.
Oh, my God.
And our job's not over till they give up. No, actually, no, they won't have to give up. They're wrong. It's easy when there's no way to prove specifically with numbers, hardcore numbers, that they're wrong. And they prey on that. And I don't mean to God, I mean they prey on
they prey,
it.
oh.
You know,
Well,
the P-R-E-Y.
This gets better. A little bit better.
No. Well, it can't get worse. Come on, dude.
The American Academy of Pediatrics also agreed with the governor's decision asking Scott to
oppose any forthcoming special session legalization that would cause harm to Vermont's children and adolescents.
So they're going to stop alcohol sales too.
Oh.
Yeah.
You know what happened in Colorado when they legalized it? Jim Ross is leaving the house, man. What happened was they did find, since legalization in Colorado, that how much you get a chance to talk. I hate that about being on mic, you know. I know. Anyway, in Colorado, adult use of marijuana has gone up since they legalized it. However, adolescent use has gone down a tick. So if adult use went up and non-adult use went down in Colorado, how would Kevin Sabet explain that? That actually, if childhood use went down a tick, minors using cannabis because they passed their legalization, seems like less minors might use it. Actually, once you regulate it for adults, it becomes less available to minors. That's what happened with alcohol. That's what happens with everything. We didn't say no alcohol for everybody to protect our children, and it tears families apart. We don't say no tobacco for anybody because we want to protect our children, because 400, 500,000 adults die per year because of tobacco-related causes, and it starts when they're children, when it's diverted to them. The legal regulated is getting, diverted into them. So to say there's going to be diversion or childhood use is going to go through the roof, they can't look at other states and show that. And even if there is, everything's going to be diverted, and children will do what they want. If somebody wants to show me they're serious about, what about the children? What about the children? I say, okay, if the first medicine, pharmaceuticals, not for them that children get, comes from parents' medicine cabinets, whether it's a friend taking from their parents or the child taking from his own parents, it comes from medicine cabinets that are unlocked because there's no law that says you have to lock your medicine up. No law. Nothing. DIFUS is not going to come by and try to take your kids if you don't lock up your medicine. You can actually leave it on a kitchen counter somewhere unattended while kids are in the house. There's no law against it. So it's not about the children. It's they're being used as an excuse, and I think children deserve better, because when they find out they're being lied to, then they don't trust anything else you say, even if it's true. That's the root of it all right there. When they find out that their friends aren't going crazy who have tried marijuana, they got to be talked to as adults. I mean, with real facts, not scare tactics because you're kids and you won't know the right questions to ask. So that's too bad for Vermont. I kind of felt that coming.
You did?
Yeah, it would have been the first state to legislate. Everything else has happened with initiative and
Well,
referendum.
Scutari said that he wanted us to be the first state to legislate.
Well, he may have that chance.
We're still in the running.
Yeah, you didn't have some guy it looked like Scutari in the background at these SAM meetings or something, did you?
I think he sunk
feeding them information so he could be first. Well, don't be so sure you're going to be first, Senator. You got to make friends with us first.
What do you guys think about the homegirl?
Well,
what homegirl?
Well, the lack of.
The lack of. It's hard to know exactly what to think. I think that people are, I guess, ready to form a lynch mob before finding out more information about it. I find that kind of curious.
I'm ready.
And detrimental.
I'm pissed. I'm pissed because talk to people like Joanne Zito about that. She'll tell you all about why we should have a homegrow. She'll tell you all about it.
Okay, but being pissed and getting something done sometimes become mutually exclusive. Getting pissed isn't going to get it done. That's a motivator. It gets you to show up fine. But I've offered concrete ideas on what we need to do, and I'm hoping that I get some help. I think that it's not a done deal yet, and I think we have from now until then to make our case. Again, I would just soon do it through somebody like Bill Caruso, because he will already, he does agree. And we need to help him help us make that happen. There are diversion statistics somewhere from prescribed opioids in New Jersey. There's always been a certain amount. I heard years ago, it was about 10% gets diverted into the illegal economy, which is when people can't get more Percocets, they buy Percocets on the black market, not bootleg Percocets, real Percocets. So there is an amount going on. We need to know what he finds acceptable for opiates in diversion. We need to find out what he finds acceptable for tobacco and diversion, because diversion is going to happen with cannabis. It happens with every regulated product. It is going to happen. So his concern isn't whether or not there's going to be diversion. It must be how much is. And then we need to know what's the point. I went to Senate hearings in Washington with Jim Price to hear how Colorado was going to approach the needed banks to change their regulatory practices, and it's the federal government setting those practices, and they gave them a set of trigger points. This is what we need to work with. And it was very pragmatic. They didn't ask for much, and Governor Hickenlooper in Colorado said, well, we're going to do this. And they've been doing okay. There has been diversion. In other states have complained about it, but mostly it's that wah, wah, wah.
Yeah.
It's been that kind of discussion. So we need to be able to say, here's what we know about diversion, here's what we know other states are finding out, and we have to make the case and have somebody make the case. While we're doing that, I think that patients need to know how to take part, because for the Coalition for Medical Marijuana New Jersey, 501c3 nonprofit in good standing state of New Jersey for 10 years, we support this because this is the only way all patients are going to have access to cannabis through legalization. When we came to a very optimistic conclusion years ago, if in our best case scenario, which is everything getting added as an indication that got approved by the advisory, even then it's going to be under half. So our goal was to get up to 50% participation by people who deserve to be in a program, and that's not good enough. So we're going with the only way, and that's legalization. And
so what happens to the medical marijuana program if we legalize?
Oh, it'll still be in full effect.
But who's gonna why pay to be in a program?
It'll probably be a certainly more quantitatively assessed brand, and some of what patients need or use is not as easy to get, even in the legal market, as it is illegally. It's certainly going to cut into their bottom line, I would think.
Yeah.
But right now, the odd answer might be, I think also what we should do is at the same time have a bill introduced in good faith that says that patients should be allowed to grow marijuana under the provisions in Scutari's original bill. You might not know, in 2009, he wrote the original, he posted the bill first, Rigusior did, and it had grow provisions. It was taken out in the assembly. So Nick Scutari was defending grow provisions for patients. Now he's saying he has concerns about the social use. I'm saying you can only be consistent with what you've done if you say, now I've seen how patients are not able to afford it. And it's one thing if somebody can't afford something for fun. But when you know it's something, and I'm saying it in phrases he can understand, when it's going to hurt their health, your original idea was right, and it's time to see if we can amend the medical marijuana law by adding home grow for registered patients.
Somehow I feel like that's our best bet for home grow, is to have it for patients first.
Yep.
And roll that out.
Yep.
See how that works out for the state.
Yep.
And that it's okay. We're not all going to be
And-
drug dealers.
and
And,
what-
everyone's going to be fine.
Or, if it's my mind is it's more about money than anything. I'm
course.
And there's a big slice of the pie, even if patients get to grow it, but they got to look at places where you can grow your own and you can buy it. In Colorado, you can grow your own. In Colorado, you can buy it. They got so much money doing this that they, by their state constitution, had to give money back. They took in too much doing that. So I'm saying there would be.
And not everybody's going to grow.
No,
Not
everybody can't. Otherwise,
for
Colorado
me,
would be selling them.
I don't mind going into a store, pick up my weed. Like I'm good with that.
Yeah.
Not everybody's going to grow, so it's going to still be a market.
I agree. And we can get a good slice of the pie, and then New Jersey being how New Jersey is, they'd probably say, that makes sense, so we're going to assess a per plant fee or something like that. But, it's a sliding scale. If you're a patient, you don't have to pay the fee. They could do that if you're a medical marijuana patient, no fee. But for those of you who aren't legal patients, then both worlds would sort of survive. And patients, most importantly, would be the ones surviving. It's Coalition was supposed to be all about medical, and although we support legalization as wholeheartedly as we can, it's because it's about medical. And then take it one step further, there's patients who use it medically that really don't know it because it centers them. It helps them be a better person at times. It's not always just for fun. I think I have personal experience. I can say myself, it clears out a lot of static. It helps me concentrate. It really does. I'm saying if it's something I want to concentrate on and I imbibe and have cannabis, I'm right on it. If I'm not thinking about anything in particular and I have some cannabis, I can't necessarily focus on something I've just decided. So I know my limitations. I function well in that world. And mostly, if I had to debate somebody like this, I would love for it to be at the point where you can say, well, I'm going to smoke cannabis while we debate, and you can drink while you debate. And the point being is the worst thing an prohibitionist wants is to have his butt kicked in a debate by somebody while they're smoking pot with facts that they can that they can remember. So I think that the things going on in New Jersey are pretty positive right now. Even though there's no home grow provision, I'm going to be very lefty-like when I find out that we don't get a seat at the table. If I come to believe every front door effort we're making to work with this is, not going to be met, then I don't think this bill would get passed if patients and organizations were against it. So I'm hoping they're going to want to cultivate and coalesce with us. That's why we're a coalition. We coalesce. We try. We'd be better off if we were not a coalition and they were, because then they'd have to coalesce with us. And I've talked with Nick Scutari's people one time, and that was because I drove to his office and knocked on the door and walked in. It may well be a way I would think would be a great communication. When we come up with something, I'd be glad to put on my jacket and tie and go on up as a 25-year veteran of trying to get stuff done like this in New Jersey. And I get that much respect when I walked into an office in a suit and tie with my card in hand. But I want to hand deliver what we have and then say it's being sent electronically as we speak. And somebody needs to look at this. Thank you very much. And we have a lot of people waiting to hear the reaction. So we don't have to go as the coalition. We can go as just concerned. I'd say citizens, but it's more participants.
Yeah.
We have skin in the game, and for some people it's all too literal, having skin in the game. Sad. Oh, sad. Very sad. Hashtag sad. That sounded a little presidential almost, you know, a way to sum up a statement. So sad.
I'm going to try to call Phil Murphy. Would you like to call Phil Murphy? Ask him about Homegrow?
No, I wouldn't.
No.
Why don't you go ahead and have yourself a blast? It's usually where I get to hear the phone call as somebody else would hear, because that's when I take off my headphones, because I'm pretty sure that you've got it controlled. And that's I'm just saying that I think you get knee-jerk reaction, and you know, you got to make it clear that we are a medical marijuana podcast in Trenton at the moment. And how do we go about hearing his feelings on Homegrow not being in the bill? Mostly, how do we do it? Because you're going to talk to somebody that answers the phone. Whether he's there or not, he's not going to be there. And they will take information, and they're going to have to write it down, so speak slow. Jim Miller leaving the house for a second.
What's that? What's that, William?
Not successfully. No.
Murphy for governor. This is Alex speaking.
Hi, you're on the air. This is Lefty Grimes. Is Phil Murphy in, please?
Hold on one moment, sir.
Thank you. Gonna talk to Phil Murphy. Gonna be the governor. We love Phil Murphy. Wait, do we love Phil Murphy?
We don't know.
Oh, we don't know yet. Let's find out if we love him or not. We don't know about you. Tell us more. We want to know.
We have a standard.
Phil Murphy, are you a
that what you're saying?
prohibitionist? Phil Murphy, do you hate us, Phil Murphy? Come on, Phil Murphy. You're going to be walking past us next year. Oh, hello.
Hello, sir. He's
Yes.
not available at the moment. Can I take a message?
Okay, we're doing a live podcast, and we have a question about Homegrow for medical cannabis patients. How does
He's not here. Would you like me to take a message?
Yes, I would actually. This is Lefty Grimes. My phone number is 908-616-0682. And I'd like to speak to him about cannabis and about Homegrow. We've already spoken to yes. We've already spoken to Governor Rouleau, future Governor Rouleau, and we'd like to speak to your guy about it.
Okay, sir. I'll make sure to pass the message along.
Can you read me back that phone number, please?
908-616-0682.
Oh, very good. Okay, thanks so much. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Have a great day.
He's never gonna call. He's not calling. He's
surprised.
not. I don't even think he wrote it down. I thought he didn't write it down. I'm surprised he read it back.
I was too. I'm like, wow, he wrote it down.
I knew you were gonna check him, but he's not calling you. I don't.
He's gonna call you.
Are we trolling people? Trolls?
He's definitely gonna call you.
You want to call Kim Guadagno?
Yes, Kim Guadagno is
let's
exactly
call
who I
Kim.
want to call.
All right, let's call Kim.
Exactly why I sat down. Because I have a troll named Kim Guadagno. I have a little troll doll that I named Kim Guadagno. I'm going to put a pin in its foot.
How do you say that last name? Yes, hi. Can we speak?
Hello?
Yes, hello. Can we speak to Kim Guadagno, please? This is
Hold on.
You're on the air. This
You're
is
on my
Lefty
hair.
Grimes.
You're on my hair.
You're on my hair.
my hair. I'm waiting, Kim.
We can speak to Kim.
Gail is not available. Record your message after the tone. When you're finished, you can hang up or press 1 for more options.
Yes, hi, Kim. This is Lefty Grimes. You're live on the air. With,
Tony, the Statue of Liberty here.
Tony and Ariel and Lord and Bill. And
I didn't get your message.
What?
Oh, that was dirty.
Wait a minute. I didn't say nothing.
You got to be quicker than that.
Wait, Kim, it's
Kim.
Lefty. I'm outside. Call me back. I'm right outside. Call me back. 908.
We're going to leave you 100 13-second messages.
I think.
To disconnect, press 1
No.
or hang up.
Re-record.
How do I all right, just what do I do?
Oh, hang up. Start over.
Faster.
Speak. All right.
Are you still there?
Yes, I'm right here.
Yes, we are.
What? I'm right here.
Disconnect, press 1 or hang
Oh,
up.
this is your government right here. This is how your government
Press 1 and
works.
start over.
All right. Well, all right. Hello?
Sorry I couldn't help you. Please call again.
What?
Kim?
No!
How are you going to help New Jersey, Kim?
Oh, Kim.
I think you got set up.
Kim, you
Kim.
can't help New Jersey with a 1-second answering machine.
Kim, that was the worst help ever.
Leave your message. Beep.
Hurtful, Kim. Hurtful.
Hi, you've reached Kim Guadagna. Leave a message at the beep.
This is Kim Guacamole.
That's terrible.
All right, let's call back. That was really bad.
All right, round 2.
Round two.
Let's keep trying until we get it right.
We'll be here all day.
Uh-oh.
I have nothing better to do.
Terry. Hi, Terry.
The president is in the house.
Mr. President, how are you, sir?
You are appalled.
Appalled?
Home cultivation.
That's what we're calling about right
For
now.
the record, Mr. President is appalled that you took out the home cultivation and that Kim Guadagna only has a 1-second answering machine.
Now they're not going to answer? Really?
No, they hear us.
Why wouldn't they? Why wouldn't they answer the phone?
Whoop, 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 whoop.
Really?
Because they know we're coming.
Governor's office.
Oh, hi. Yeah, this is Lefty Grimes again. You're on the air. We were trying to get through to Kim Guadagno. Can you put us through to her answer machine again? We got disconnected. Sorry.
Hold on.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Kim Guadagno?
Guadagno.
Kim Guacamole?
Guacamole?
I like that better.
Avocado oil.
Good afternoon, Governor's
It's good, though.
office.
Yes, hi. Can I speak to Kim Guadagno, please? It's Lefty Grimes. You're on the air.
You're on my hair.
Excuse me?
Yes, I'd like to speak to Kim
No, this
Guadagno.
is not the lieutenant. Okay, the lieutenant governor's office.
Yes,
thank you.
thank you.
Hold on.
Yeah, I think I'll need this. This is getting frustrating and stressful for me as a patient.
The carousel. The carousel.
It's the carousel of government. It's the carousel of government. There's no music to sing to.
This one's for you, Lieutenant Governor Kim Guadagna.
Guadagna. Kim Guadagna. Guadagna. Godzilla.
The governor's office?
Yes, hi. This is Lefty Grimes. You're on the air. Can I speak to Kim Guadagno, please?
I'm sorry, she's not in the office today, sir. Can I take a message?
Yes, this is Lefty Grimes. We do a podcast outside the office here. You probably walk past us every Thursday. We'd like to speak to her about her. Yeah, you know, that's us. So we'd like to speak to her.
Yeah.
Do you like us? Are you a fan?
Fangirl?
I'm not against you.
Oh, cool. Wow. Well, thank you.
Either you're for us or against us,
that's
so
good.
that works.
That works.
That
You're
means
abstaining.
she likes you.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? I mean, I'm not against you being out there.
Oh! Ba-dum bump. We'll give you that one.
All right.
Entitled to.
You're good. All right. We like you.
Come on.
Well, you probably
was
think. Well, we'd like her to talk to us about this issue. We spoke to Joe Rullo about this already, and we'd like to speak to her about it.
Who did you speak with, Giro?
Joe Rullo. He's running against
who's
her.
Joe Rullo?
He's running against Kim in the election, in the primary. He's a Republican running against her.
Rulo2017.com.
Yeah. So he is for home grow, and we'd like to see what her issue, how she feels about home grow or legalization as a whole.
Yeah, the primary's coming up here, and we haven't heard Kim's stance on cannabis yet.
Yeah, we'd like to know more.
Okay. Let me take your number, Lefty. Is that your name, Lefty?
Yes, it is.
Okay. Let me take that.
Love you.
It's
I love you.
908 616 0682.
Okay. So please be clear. I'm not saying I'm for what you're for. I'm saying I think it's fine that you're able to do what you do and go out there, and the state police give these permits, and that's good. They're good for everybody.
Yeah, they give us a smoking area for patients to smoke our cannabis legally, which is really great. We appreciate that.
And we appreciate that you respect our rights like that.
Yeah,
Thank you.
we like you protecting our rights.
Yeah,
We thank
of course.
you. Yeah, thank you.
Of course, we all do. All right, Lefty, I have the number, and I will have somebody call you back.
Awesome. What's your name?
My name is Barbara.
Thank you, Barbara.
Thank you, Barbara, very much.
you, Barbara.
Appreciate it.
You're very welcome.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Well,
All right. We
We're
move
getting
forward.
somewhere.
One step forward. Baby
All right.
steps. Baby steps.
all right. Who else we got on our list? Jack Chittarelli. Let's call him.
Chittarelli.
He's running for governor.
Oh, isn't he the one that is paying children off the books to spread his pamphlets?
No, he voted no for PTSD.
Oh, no for PTSD. That's even worse.
Ouch.
That means he doesn't care about the soldiers.
That hurts.
That hurts a lot.
That's a bad look for him.
You know what I heard? I heard that it wasn't trendy to support cannabis for troops back then. That's what I heard. It wasn't trendy then.
Trending
You
on
know
YouTube?
what troops have to go through?
Yeah, it wasn't
and what
trendy.
they
That's what I
take
was told.
home with them after they leave the services.
I told-
like they need it.
Break.
I told them that it will never be trendy to support our troops. It will always be important.
Exactly. It's never a trend.
All right. Let's call Jack. Jack. Okay, Jack. What do you got to say, Jack? He's got Jack to say.
I just like to hear that go.
Assemblyman Chittarelli's office.
Yes, hi. This is Lefty Grimes. You're on the air. Can I speak to Jack about his candidacy for governor, please?
This is his legislative office. I can give you the campaign office phone number if you need that.
Okay. Is Jack in by any chance? Did I catch him in the office or no?
We could talk legislatively if
He's
he
not
needs.
here.
Okay.
He's not in the district office, but he might be in the campaign office. Can you hold on just a minute? I'm going to give you the phone number.
Thank you.
Hold on just a moment.
Yeah. There we go. Yeah, this guy voted no for PTSD for vets, so he's got a lot to answer for.
That is really unacceptable.
Yeah, I mean, how do you do that? I just don't get that. Just abstain.
All right, the phone number is 908
Yes. Write this down.
842
842 842
2100.
2100. 842 2100. Okay, thank you very much.
Yes.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Okay. Bye.
842. All right, was it 908? What?
842 2100.
It was a 908, right? I think,
Yes.
right?
908 842
2100.
I think we got it. Between the three of us, we have one brain.
Stoner brain.
We got it. We got it. We're going to do this,
Join
man.
together
It
with
takes a
the
team.
band.
Chittarelli's governor, can I help you?
Yes, hi, you're on the air. This is Lefty Grimes. Is Jack in, please?
Jack is not in the office right now. Can I take a message?
Sure. This is Lefty Grimes. We're doing a live podcast, and I'd like to speak to him. I'd like to speak to him on the air about his views on medical cannabis. We're doing a podcast right outside Governor Christie's office right now.
Okay.
Does he have a stance on medical cannabis or legal cannabis in New Jersey?
You know what? I haven't spoken to him regarding the issue. I can take down your name and have him answer any questions that you have.
That'd be great. Sure. Okay.
Before the primary, hopefully.
Yeah. My number is 908
I'm sorry?
908
Yep.
616
Okay.
0682.
Okay.
And we spoke to Joe Rulo about this already, and we're speaking to Phil Murphy soon, and we'd like to speak to Jack about this also. So if he has a chance, we'd love to talk to him.
Okay, absolutely. I'll pass the information along. Thank
Great.
you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Okay.
I don't think she's going to do it.
Probably not.
Can I take a quick tangent here?
Yes.
I don't want to point in anybody's direction, but let's not talk T-shirts today.
Oh, shit. I completely... Yo, you know what? My Don't Shoot on Black shirt got ripped again.
Brother,
So, like,
I hope
that's
you
the
wear
only
that
thing.
shirt every single week.
Wow. That's.
But it is true. I am a gentleman.
I believe it.
Yes, you are.
Sorry to call you out on that one. You missed the earlier comments. What's next? Who are we calling? Troll?
Steve Rogers.
Troll and Rogers.
Steve Rogers is also running for governor. Let's call him up.
We're making some progress.
What's his stance on
This is how you do it.
I don't know his stance at all, actually.
That's why we're calling.
We need to call Steve Rogers now.
Who is he and what does he do?
I don't even know. Let's find out.
We're going to try and find out.
Let's go to his neighborhood.
What does your neighborhood smell like?
Yes, Mr. Rogers. Inquiring minds would love to know.
You have reached 973.
He's busy rolling
Not
out.
available to take this call at this time. Please leave your name and number at the sound of the tone, and I will call you back.
Who you gonna roll with?
Doesn't look like the number.
Is this Mr. Rogers?
Oh, did I do the wrong number?
Mr. Rogers?
Hold on. Wrong number. Sorry. Human error.
Wipeout. You know, we just trust Lefty to just run all of this stuff, and he does a really good job, I think.
Yeah.
I'm trying.
I concur.
He just runs it. He just runs with it, and it gets done. Lefty and his merry band of weirdos and trolls.
The number or code you have dialed is incorrect. Please check the number.
Really?
Kim Guadagno. What is his phone number? Check your Rolodex and please call.
842.
2100.
Last chance. Last one.
908.
2100.
842. 908.
Ring my bell. Ring my bell. Kim Guadagno.
Godzilla.
This is the office of Stephen Rogers. Please leave your name, your message, and your telephone number at the sound of the tone.
All right.
And I will return your call as soon as possible.
All right. That might be a cell phone number.
Record your message at the tone. After leaving your message, you may hang up or press pound for additional
That
options.
sounds like a cell phone number to me. Hello, Mr. Rogers. This is Lefty Grimes. You're live on the air. We'd like to do a interview with you about your candidacy for governor here in New Jersey. We are speaking with Governor Rullo. We're speaking with Kim Guadagno. We're speaking with, who's the other one? Phil Murphy.
Phil Murphy.
And we'd like to speak to you about your cannabis position. Do you believe in legalization of cannabis? Do you believe in decrim? What is your position on cannabis, sir? We'd like to know.
Bill Brennan.
Yes, we would like to know how you feel. Do you feel people should be arrested for a plant?
Are you putting people in a cage for a plant?
Status quo or thinking outside the box?
Or are you going to save New Jersey?
Or do you have personal issues?
Are you paid by the pharmaceutical industry?
Do you
Fossil
have a private
fuels?
agenda?
Why are you running for governor? Do you know Kim Guadagno?
Are you compassionate?
I recommend the food at the joint.
Do you love Jesus?
I love me.
I think you can help New Jersey if you legalize cannabis, sir. And I think you should.
I would like you to sit down at the fountain with us. We'll be very friendly.
Yes, the fountain of cannabism.
The fountain of cannabism.
It's where they found the youth.
Canna fountain.
What's your view on home grow for patients?
I need home grow, sir.
Can I have 6 plants? Better yet, 12 plants.
I can't afford my medication.
I think we should do 18 plants.
And I've gotten off 480 milligrams of oxycodone every single day to come here and talk to you about that.
That's
with
nothing.
Cannabis.
I get off 90 milligrams every 3 hours.
Ooh-wee.
That's a lot. My doctor tried to kill me.
Yeah, I went through that several times.
Shit. That's not good.
They gave me Cymbalta when I told them I was not depressed. They told me it would help with my pain. I committed suicide on that drug.
Wait, you committed suicide?
I did.
Wait, this is the ghost of Tony?
Mm-hmm.
Come on, really?
He's an aspiration.
Did you really die?
I think I did, yeah, absolutely.
What did you see after when you died? Did you see the light?
I saw a bright white light, and then everything was very peaceful, and then I woke up, and I was still the same idiot.
So there wasn't 72 virgins waiting for you in heaven?
No, not yet. It's not heaven yet. We're close, though.
They're down here waiting for you, I think.
No, they're in South Jersey waiting for me.
Jersey devil, you.
Hey, do you know what a cenote is?
What?
A cenote.
What's that?
A cenote is one of those holes down in the Yucatan Peninsula where the fresh water comes up in the caves. Like the Mayan Indians used to get their fresh water from there.
Sweet.
There's a cenote on my land in South Jersey.
Really?
It is. It's where it's where the Jersey Devil lives and drinks and swims. At least that's where I drink and swim.
Can we go there and have a party?
We could. Yeah. Would you like to?
Yes.
My whole neighborhood is all local traffic only construction, so there's only one way in and one way out for my whole entire neighborhood right now.
Okay.
We could have a rager down there right now.
Okay, so you hear that, Steve? Steve, you're invited to this party. If you want to come, you're invited. Yeah, just give me a call, hit me up, and we'll bring you to this party. You can, if you're into cannabis, we can smoke some cannabis with me.
We'll have a bonfire at the Cenote, Steve.
Yeah.
In Mr. Rogers' neighborhood.
A bunch of legal patients there.
Oh, wait, no, that's Mr. Liberty's neighborhood. Come see my statue, Steve. Oh, wait, that's in New York.
Yeah. So, Steve,
cannabis logs. I thought about this. If we could start growing mass production of hemp and cannabis in this country, you know those little fire starter logs that people buy at the store? We could make them out of cannabis stalks.
Yep. And it burns longer.
Burns longer, healthier.
Smells great.
Smells good. No waste.
I like that. That's a good idea.
You have reached maximum recording limit. To send the message, press pound. To replay this message, press 1. To add to your message, press message confirmed. Goodbye.
Okay, all our phone calls to the candidates are done.
The troll day is done? Troll day is
done? Trolling.
Come on, we should do one unexpected troll.
Who? This is not a troll call.
No troll? Okay.
This is our co-host. We're about to end the show.
Oh. I didn't realize what time it was.
Not yet. We're not ending the show yet.
You said we're about to end the show.
Hello?
Well, we will soon, but we got to talk to Honeybee first. Hi, Honeybee. Good morning.
Good morning, guys.
How are you?
Hey, honey. Hey.
Give this to Ariel. You're on the air. You're on the air.
I am.
You're on Tony's hair.
I'm on the air.
You're on here.
Oh, no.
Hey.
Hey.
Ariel's here. She says, hi. Hey, honey, hey.
Hello, Honeybee.
Hey, honey, hey.
Hi.
Hi.
Hey.
So, are you at work?
I am.
Oh, boy. She's at the damn tire company again.
Working for the tire company.
The damn tire company? Really?
Yeah, there are a bunch of racists in there.
Do they make tires?
Yeah.
They only make the black tires work.
So wait, Honeybee works. Where at Honeybee's job, she is watching the wheels go round all day.
Yep.
Love you. Miss you.
Watching the wheels go round.
I love you too. Miss you.
What? What?
Mr.
Will I
President,
answer the phone?
Yes. Yes. Yes, yes.
How's it going?
Cannabis. How's the cannabis community?
Okay.
You're at work?
Are you working at your trimming job, trimming cannabis, or at the other job?
I am. Kind of hard to hear you guys.
I like that job where you're trimming cannabis. That picture you took was amazing. Yeah, your phone sucks.
She is in Oregon.
Yeah, you're far away, too.
I am very far away. Only like about 3,000 miles.
Woo!
It's pretty far.
Nationwide.
But see, where you can legally grow cannabis.
We're taking this.
Yeah, nationwide, baby. We can grow cannabis legally out there.
Nationwide is on your side.
Do you have a Mr. Rogers in your neighborhood out there?
Yeah.
What does your neighborhood
I'm sure
smell
we
like?
do.
What does your neighborhood smell like over there?
Yeah.
Flowers.
Oh my goodness. Beautiful green flowers.
Everywhere,
Oh.
wherever you turn.
Amazing.
I'm coming out this summer with Micah.
There you go.
We're staying with you.
Oh, really?
Visitors.
Oh, I can't.
I'm going to come out there with a balloon full of Jersey air for you.
I can't wait. That's so nice of you.
Priceless.
Fill it up in Linden. Bring some cancer and MS out there. Oh!
Yeah, I surely saw it when I was there.
You can see it in the air.
I can see it right now.
I could.
It's pretty thick with it.
It's like, night and day.
Thick with something, at least.
Oh, boy.
Kim Guadagno.
Guacamole.
Godzilla.
So how was the show? I didn't hear the beginning of it.
It's a good show. Always good show.
Oh, really?
Always good.
Was it good? I don't know. We should have a caller call in and tell us it's good someday. And then we would know it was good.
That'd be awesome.
I don't think anyone
No,
actually
Tony,
listens.
You're the only random person that ever listens.
Yeah,
It's just me.
alright.
Just you.
I'm the one and only.
They listen after, in their car, whenever. Or they're taking
The first time I met Lefty, I was like, I started watching these videos like 3 years ago. He's like, oh, you're the one.
That was you? Wow, I found you, finally. Looking for you forever, man. I love you too, man.
Help me, Lefty, help me.
Help me to
I
help
need
you.
help.
There's always just one. I found them. We found each other.
Oh, it's love.
Aw. You had me at fuck the police.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Hold on. Wait, these assholes are being assholes to the police in Trenton? I gotta wake up. I'll get off drugs for that.
I'll get off drugs to smoke cannabis with you guys at the police stations. Yeah, it's a taste of freedom, man. It really is.
I'm not really sick. I was just a junkie until someone had something better to do.
Quote of the day right there. That was a quote of the day. Wow, Tony. At the buzzer, too.
Write that down.
Write
that down.
He hits it at the buzzer, man. It's like...
Came in clutch.
Kim Guadagno.
Coselo! Coselo!
So I got an email from this lady who wants to write an article about Sativa Cross.
No way.
That's amazing.
Really?
Time Magazine? Time Magazine?
Something
Time
positive
Magazine?
or negative?
Vice.
Vice?
Vice. Wow, cool. There you go. That's what we need.
Very
Moving
vicey.
up in the world now.
That'll help.
Moving on up.
Helpful.
I just sent her the links to the website and the YouTube channel because she wants to add that to her article.
Wow.
Very cool, huh?
You've been busy, Honeybee.
We love our producer.
Wow.
Honeybee, you're the
I'm
greatest.
trying. Aw, thanks.
Aw.
I think we should all fly out there and give her a present.
Yeah, I'm going
Should
out
give
there
her a
this
jersey
summer.
hug.
Yes.
Big fat Jersey hug.
Jersey hug.
He may be a gentleman.
They own one? Yes.
Honeybee, you got to see the shirt. Hold on. Yeah, I got to take a picture for you.
Okay.
You'll like this.
Hold on. And I got abused last week for wearing a Bob Marley t-shirt.
Yeah, you're going to like this.
But like a lot of times people don't read the shirt and they're like, when they finally do read it, they're like, oh shit.
I read that shit as you walked up. You were a marked man as soon as you walked in that corner.
Yeah, look at that picture. Can you see it? Isn't that great? It's the best. I can't repeat it because, it's a family show here in Trenton.
Yeah, we can't say that one here. Kim Guadagno.
I could say it. It says, I may be a gentleman, but I'll still F the S out of you.
Free the sample?
I mean, it's true. I am the gentleman. The other
He
part
may
is
be a
irrelevant.
gentleman, but he will free your sample.
That's a great shirt. I'm going to post that.
Repost, share. Hashtag.
We're going to share it in my Honeybee Blackout tour.
That's great.
That's great.
Yeah.
If you like it, we get you some made.
Further record, us Sativa Cross, we like free samples.
Yes, we do. Oh, your Happy Daddy package will be coming.
Hey, I saw a video that Happy Daddy put up where they had a cereal bowl bong, and it was the baddest little thing I ever saw.
Oh man, I saw.
So
that
you can
video
wake it.
too.
Did you see that?
The
Wake and bake cereal bong. That was priceless. Eat your Fruity Loopies and take yourself a hit of the Fruity Gooey.
Oh man.
If you could make it bubble through the milk, it would be even better.
Oh man, that'd be so dope. But then you'll get like contamination with the milk and
Yeah, you get
water.
some resin on your Fruity Loopies.
Yeah. Then it might be even more delicious.
Resi Loopies. Hashy Loopies. Hash Loops. Kim Guadagno.
Coselo! Guacamole.
Mr. Rogers' neighborhood. What does your neighborhood smell like, Mr. Rogers?
Smells like Stephanie Katz.
Oh shit.
Ooh. Hey, fat cats. God is watching. Hey, fat cats.
Stephanie Katz.
God is watching.
Nice to meet you.
Stop, please.
Judgment.
What does that smell?
No.
It's never a dull day at the podcast, I swear.
It's live action today. Everybody lit up today.
Honeybee.
Yes.
I got a question for you. Have you ever burnt yourself with a torch?
Not me personally, no.
No, really? You haven't?
No.
Oh, well, I
haven't
have.
burnt myself.
Tony
I burnt
has.
someone else.
Tony, have you ever burnt yourself with a torch?
I do regularly, actually.
Yeah.
It keeps my balls smooth.
Wow.
I thought this was family friendly.
What? I collect baseballs, and when they sit on the stage for too long,
yes,
they get
yes.
they get a little moss on them. You got to burn it off.
Moss. You got ball moss. Well, you know what, guys and girls, there's a better way to medicate. You don't need to burn yourself with a torch anymore.
Oh, I blew a snot
But
bubble.
it's fun. The pain is so good.
Don't do it, guys. Magical butter makes your recipes better.
That machine is awesome.
Magical butter makes your recipes better. Brownies, cookies, smoothies, sauces, soups, veggies, candies, salad dressings for your tossed salad, William.
Ooh, I did not know that.
Avocado oil.
Guacamole oil.
Guadagno.
Oh, Godzilla oil. Call 1-800-420-4334. 1-800-420-4334.
Say hi to Garen Angel.
What's that the phone number for?
For the love glove, for the magical butter.
The love glove?
Magical butter makes your recipes much, much better, William.
Do you know why?
Magical butter.
Because it gives you the opportunity to express your creativity. You're only limited by your own imagination.
I love that.
Magicalbutter.com.
That is the cipher. That's true.
That's why it's magical.
.com.
Magical butter.
Magical butter.
This music is how the patients feel after experiencing the wonders of the magical butter machine. If you could get in their heads and hear the carnival that becomes their mindset, then this is what it would sound like.
Magicalbutter.com. Self-expression is a beautiful thing.
I am free. I have good coconut oil in my magic butter machine right now.
Now I'm starving.
I heard that.
Hey, we should go to the
Rumor
joint
had
after
it.
this.
Magical butter makes your recipes better. 1-800-420-4334.
I make medicine in my magical butter machine that made me get off of opiates.
Me too.
Oh, thank God for that.
Magicalbutter.com.
Thanks, Garen Angel.
Love that guy.
How about an internship?
I gotta get up, man. I've been sitting to it.
That is amazing.
I gotta do the old bite.
Want to thank cmmmnj.org, sativacross.com, Happy Daddy Products, NewJerseyWeedman.com, Canashare, our new sponsor, Canashare. I'm waiting to see what they send us. Oh, my God. Just saying. Blue Planet Biotech, Run New Jersey, DavidVersusAutism.org, NewJerseyWeedman.com. Free the Weed Man. Why is he still in jail, by the way?
Court dates keep getting pushed back. I mean, there's nothing they can do.
No, not anymore.
No, it's
ridiculous.
getting put back as long as it can, so that he stays incarcerated as long as possible. And whether it's the truth or not, it's under the guise of confidential informant still doing business. It would jeopardize other investigations to let him out. So they can't just say that. It would jeopardize court date pushed back. Another court date pushed back. So that's really.
But he's a cancer patient. He's going to have such a lawsuit when he gets out. Because he's a cancer patient.
Well, maybe they're trying to help him get rich.
He's a vet.
Yeah.
Why is he suffering?
They'll have one in the pipeline.
He's getting paid big time when he gets out, though.
Yeah.
He's got to get out. He's got to wait this whole thing out, and it's hard.
Well, it's unbelievable.
He's representing his place as best as possible for the things where we overlap, and that's the best we can do. Our agendas solidly overlap.
He wants me to dress as Jesus at the next court date, and I'll do whatever he wants. I don't know how that's going to help, but should I wear underwear or not? I need to know what my parameters are. Commando. Do I do the Judge Judy or not?
If you want my advice, I will give it to you privately, but you already know what it is.
Commando.
Well, no, it's you got to make
and then do the spread and do the spread and to combat Stephanie Katz.
There's two separate things. They're not mutually exclusive, but understand there are two separate things.
Yeah, share the wealth, Lefty.
Well, you can do what Ed would like you to do, and you can do it even if you think it's going to be counterproductive because he'd like you to do it. But if you think it's going to be counterproductive and you do it because he'd like you to, this is where it's like a fence thing for me. It's sort of like, if somebody bends over and says, "Kick me in the ass," I'm not inclined to do it.
I'm willing to listen, but how would it be counterproductive? How?
Well, first of all, what would the point be? And then I can tell you that if it's counterproductive to the point that it's proposed for.
Well, Ed is basically being crucified by Trenton. He walks around with a cross on his back at the marches. There's pictures of him with a crucifix. So I think the whole point of the whole Jesus thing, I get it. I'm not wearing blackface. I'm not going that far. He wants me to do that. I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that.
I wouldn't even mentioned it myself.
I don't know why he would ask.
I refuse to. No, tell Ed I'm not doing that.
This is my point.
I will not wear underwear, though.
He thinks both things are a good idea, and you think one is maybe okay and one isn't. But then you got to stop and think, I'm just proposing that out of the 900 million Catholics in the world, I don't know how many live in New Jersey or would see this, but that it will alienate a certain amount of people as if you're making fun of their religion. I'm just saying that. That's not me. You know that. I mean, I can't even say what's me because self-preservation. I can
do that because I was an altar boy and I was a choir boy, so I can talk all the smack I want about whatever.
But nobody will know that to see.
So there you go.
Nobody
Were you
will.
okay?
But nobody.
Did something happen to you?
Listen to me, Lefty. That's a good defense. You don't want to play defense, though.
No, we don't. We play offense now.
That's what. Well, offense is going to create a defensive situation in this case.
Okay.
Yeah,
I see what you're saying.
I'm just saying, and it's all for ultimately with Ed in mind. I'm saying it too. It's not like because this is how I would do it. I'm trying to be pragmatic on, if I had to actually bet on which is the best way. But I also know that when Ed has his path planned, it's very hard to dissuade him on purpose. He may just change his mind, but he's one guy I got to respect for sticking to his guns. If nothing else, man, he does that. So
Well, I have a Jesus outfit. I'm willing to wear it without underwear, with the male spread in the pew. Are those called pews in court? Oh,
yeah,
it's
pews.
It's a pew, right?
Yeah.
So
No, I think that's for church.
Do the Jesus spread. I'm gonna do the big spread with the toga. And Stephanie Katz will be literally 2 rows in front of me with her odors going on.
Well, see, also while you're doing this, there's one thing the president and me have in common. I got to build a wall, a big wall, a very big, effective wall, a firewall between you and me at that moment, between you and the coalition at that moment.
There you go. Yeah, do that now.
I need
Start
a very big wall between us. It doesn't matter if we agree or disagree. We can say, I didn't know. We have plausible deniability. Yeah, there you go. And we're black this whole part out. Man. Just don't put my cup up there.
We know nothing. We see nothing.
Denounce what I'm doing, Jim. Denounce it. Go ahead. Just do it. Denounce it.
No, I can't denounce it. It's one of the beautiful parts about being an American and living in this country is there are things that we do get to do that maybe we couldn't. And I just like it when it's something effective. Keep in mind, I've gotten arrested at a George Bush rally on purpose and eating marijuana, Cheryl, in a congressman's office and blocking a congressman's doorway. And a lot of people said that was the wrong look.
No, it was great.
And you know, I took what they said at heart. It's just that it was the only look in town, too. There was nothing going on in 98, 99.
You were badass,
this
man.
Was
I
the
love it.
This was the news for... Oh, by the way, not for nothing, but one of my Facebook friends was... at present at the James Rogan thing, part of the planning process, the one that might have been the one to supply the actual product right in front of everybody's nose while the reporters and police were there. And he also is the one that took the footage of Cheryl and Bob Barr's doorway and me, you know, stop arresting patients, and then, you know, they made everybody turn off the cameras while they arrested me and dragged me down the hallway. But then he had down the hallway footage of Cheryl being dragged back out. He said he was cleaning out a bunch of his stuff and he found VHS tapes of pretty much all the national news about that event and the way that they portrayed it. So I have two views, but it's kind of had to play in St. Louis. So let's look at St. Louis's look at this, because they all had their own people there. Different film views, different announcement, different takes on it. I'm going to have all that. And have a 20-year anniversary party. It'd be March 30th, 2018, 20 years. What's up, man?
Blue Planet Biotech, New Jersey Grannies for Grass, Run New Jersey, medical-freedom.com. Get your State of Compassion flags from medical-freedom.com. Can of Sense, Tuffy's Fight, Legalize for Lorelei, JacksonStorms.com. Prayers for Sarah, Prayers for Pete, Jenny's Purple Ribbon Journey, and Jenna's Journey.
Now, these are people we support and people who support us, right?
Yes, they are.
I don't hear Weed for Warriors in there.
Weed for Warriors?
We have a representative of Weed for Warriors.
Why don't you tell me these things? Oh, my God. You know how I am. Oh, God, yes, thank you.
I decided to do it on air so you'd remember.
Helpful, because I'll do it right now. Yeah. Helpful. Thank you. I just added someone last night, too.
Yeah, but when somebody comes all the way here and sits on the podcast with us.
You should have been on this list months ago, and you should have yelled at me months ago about this because...
Well, me too, because it wasn't until right here that I'm looking past you and I see Laura standing over there. And
who do we forget? Wait for Warriors. And what's the other name, the other group?
Women Veterans Collective.
Okay.
Yes. See, I waited for you to ask on your own.
Now, give me a second here. I got to do this. Let me do this now. So
give somebody some semblance of order, and they'll have order for a day. Teach them, and you get to do that for the rest of your life now. Not forget to include people. I like the idea of acknowledging, you know, just where paths cross. You know, they don't even have to be here or present and accounted for. We may never see these people, some of them ever again, but we know we're going the same way or in different places. You can quote me on that. Anytime you want. I came up with another phrase at work the other day. I was chagrined that I didn't have two of something that I need one of. And that's a testament to me losing things at will. You know, I have two of everything I need one of. At one point, I'm going to have one. Keys, pencils, pens of every kind. So are you adding that now, or are you
done?
Having a moment?
Got it. Weed for Warriors.
Oh, you did that on the spot there. See, that's respect. That's respect. Halt the podcast while you do it, and I don't mean that sarcastically. That's respect, because you don't halt the podcast.
Got to do it.
Yeah. Got a job to do. You got to do it well.
It's all about the show.
Yeah.
No, that's important. So our list begins. Unless Honeybee, do you have anything before we begin our list?
No, not today.
I just called to, depress you. I'm sorry. The hell's that? Hold on, Honeybee, let me call you right back.
Yeah.
I'm gonna call you right back.
Okay.
Speaking of home grow, gotta take this call. Gotta take this call because this person here wants to speak about home grow for 5 minutes. Really quick.
Hello?
Hello, Joanne. How are you?
I'm doing all right. How are you?
Good. You're on the air. I want to talk to you real quick about home grow because you are one person. When people ask me about home grow, why we need home grow in New Jersey, I say, why don't you ask Joanne about her story and let her tell you why we need home grow in New Jersey and how you were victimized by the government. I mean, it's just so sad, your story. I don't even know where to start.
Right. Well, I mean, we work with cannabis users, and we got in trouble. We were growing to save money because we couldn't afford cannabis as a young family, and Jeremy was in prison for a year. It was a 5-year sentence. And he got off on ISP for 18 months. We made it through that. We're not really ones to give up our rights so easily, I guess you could say. So we got in trouble again, and he was sentenced to 5 years on drug court, which is intense probation and rehabilitation, where you can be drug tested at any minute, any day, any time. And unfortunately, he didn't make it through the 5 years. And I'm starting to see that he was using cannabis medicinally, not necessarily a medical patient per se.
Non-qualifying.
But,
right.
Yeah. And I'm thankful that the Department of Health is looking at anxiety and social anxiety to be qualified as a condition.
It's been approved as a recommendation, yeah.
Yeah, because cannabis is medicine, and cannabis saves lives. And if he were to have access to the cannabis that he was growing, instead of it having it stolen by the police, he'd probably still be here today.
A very well-dressed gang, if you will.
I would also want to say, to be sure without a playback, that you mentioned the stipulations that he was free on, and said that
free,
mentioned the stipulations for him being not incarcerated, and remaining not incarcerated.
Not free.
And then you said that he didn't make it, and it somebody that didn't know might think that he just had to smoke pot, and that's what you meant. And I wanted to be real clear that he passed from this earth, didn't make it.
Right. Well, he was using cannabis medicinally, and when he couldn't, he turned to dangerous alternatives, which can be deadly.
Yeah, but they were they also against any provisions in his non-incarceration? I mean, that was just something that wasn't really an issue, I would guess. A lot of people it would be if they're...
No, when we had cannabis, that was never an issue.
Yeah, but I guess what I was wondering is the alternatives he went to, would they have been against his stipulations or not?
Oh, yeah, they were... You couldn't do anything. You can't do anything on drug court. Unless it's,
they broke
like, allowed by, prescribed by a doctor.
Or recommended.
Well, if we had a better program and it wasn't so hard to become a patient, he may not have been a non-qualifying patient.
Exactly.
And then if we had a better law where he was now a qualified patient and was allowed to grow, that he'd probably be here with you.
Absolutely, and that's why I became an activist.
Yeah. And you understand, Joanne, that one of the things we do as activists, and I hate to be taking part in doing it this way with you, is we make people feel bad. It's our job. We make them feel bad about the truth. So I hate it when it drags somebody down even to do that like you, and I appreciate you talking about this here now and at this moment.
Yeah,
Much
thanks.
love, Joanne.
No, I did want to say too, with the drug court testing, the probation testing, I mean, there's certain windows where people can do certain things and get away with it. And in some cases, it's, you know, a way to exhibit your freedom.
Yeah, you
It's
could.
a way to
Yeah, you could
get
do
some
meth.
relaxation.
Yeah, you could do meth, and you could drink and do coke, and have that out of your system by Monday. But cannabis, no, that'll be in your system for months. You're screwed.
Yeah, I mean, even still, it's just drug court for cannabis is inhumane.
Yeah.
5 years.
I'm sorry you went through that.
Yes, me too.
Still going through this. Well, Joanne,
So hopefully, you know,
thank you.
the law, I want to fight for cannabis grow rights for patients, but also just for the general people.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, we're not done with the social use law, not having home grow. There's moves to be made, and we make them to the best of our ability, and the proper people execute them, which I don't mean me. Yeah, we may well turn that around before it has to be fixing a law. We could hopefully fix the bill before that becomes necessary.
Right.
Step by step.
Yeah.
And it can't include the oft argued, hey man, what gives you the right to tell me what I can grow and what I can't? Yeah, well, I agree with that. We're certainly going to be far above that and present it in a way that both legislators and general people can both understand, and that's legislators' biggest fear, the general masses understanding what we're saying. So we're going to do that. For Jeremy and everybody else on the list that we're about to recite.
Yeah. Joanne, thank you.
Thanks.
Thanks, Joanne.
We'll talk to you soon. That's really sad, man.
That I didn't even know about.
All right. Well, Cheryl Miller.
Just calling in. That's my phone. I can't take that.
Cheryl got me into activism because of what I saw her go through and what she did. It was amazing. And now I talk about her wearing that shirt. Her shirt was Cannabis is Medicine that she wore, the last shirt she wore.
No, actually, the last shirt she wore, I didn't really particularly like the phraseology, but it was the shirt she had on that day. We'd gotten in 1999 in Washington, D.C. It was red with white letters. It said, I'm a medical marijuana user.
Oh, that's right.
I just didn't like the word user. I thought patient would have been better.
I don't like the word marijuana.
Yeah, but he, basically it was that. And basically she was taken away to the morgue in that shirt. Well, it was laying on top of her, not actually physically around her arms. Hard to get a shirt on a person when they can't roll over. Yeah, so she fought till the moment she died, and actually,
and then some.
And then some if somebody in the morgue was moved,
And still, to this day, people are still going to remember Cheryl Miller and what she did to get you guys your medical cannabis here in New Jersey. You wouldn't have it if it wasn't for Cheryl and Jim.
The first research I did was on microfilm. I think that sums it up a little bit.
Wow, microfilm.
Microfilm. No computers. No. Yeah, that was how you looked up stuff in periodicals and newspapers. Microfilm.
And what's microfiche? What's that?
Somebody can't pronounce microfilm.
Okay, just checking. I don't know.
That's my way of saying I don't know.
I remember microfiche. I don't remember microfiche.
Yeah, that might have been some really hoity-toity microfilm.
It's weird.
Gold, microfilm gold.
All right.
Yeah. But it was that long ago. And basically, historically speaking, I kind of refer to her as the gatekeeper, the one who kept the gate open, the one who stayed at the gate while everybody else caught up, while others realized that we could be public, while others got involved. And it expanded, and she was here that long, long enough to get that job done. So I will always have her take full credit. I will take it on her behalf for keeping the fires alive and being the point person. All the way through the 90s, to the late 90s. You wouldn't think that would be it, but you'd be wrong. And she heads really a long list of people who aren't with us. Not including, not on the list, 10% of the medical marijuana registered patient population in any given year will be dying, approximately. It was 10% in the year that ended in 2015. So we'll assume it's at least that. Serious. It's not a matter to congratulate somebody when they say they got their medical marijuana registration card. It should be more like, I'm sorry to hear that.
Sabina Rose didn't get a card.
No.
She died waiting for her card. Sabina Rose waited a quarter of her life for her medical cannabis card, and that never came. And Sabina Rose died from a 25-hour seizure because she couldn't get cannabis, but she can get Depakote, Onfi, OxyContin within minutes. But because of the restrictions placed on her family by Governor Christie, she had to jump through all these hoops, which she just didn't have time or the health to do those things. They just ran out of time.
Day she died, Governor Christie was speaking somewhere, and as far as changes that were trying to be made in the medical marijuana law, the same day Sabina Rose died, Governor Christie said he was done expanding our law. He was done. Yeah, he's done. He's still here. Oh, I would also like to propose that we do, if we don't do it before our 100th podcast, would come after Thanksgiving. I would like to do a podcast somewhere in Trenton as visible as can be his last full day in office, not the inauguration day when everybody's going to be here. We want to celebrate his last day in office, do we not?
Yes, we do.
Well, we need a band. We need all the things we need. And if the state police say you're not going to get another permit out here, I say don't need one. I'm done. So basically, I can throw away my preferred status here, and we can do whatever we want that day to say goodbye. Well, I'm just saying, if a marching band came walking up the street that could play in the cold of a January day, that would be the case. We do not just wave goodbye. We celebrate his departure, and we can begin to make New Jersey great again. 236 days from today.
Diane Ripitella. Gracie. Cindy May. Jack. These are children. Marie. Joan Ford. Randy Robertson. Chad. You just heard Joanne talk about Jeremy and why we need home grow. Her family's still suffering because of this drug war. Colette is Jeff's mom. She died from MS. Well, you don't die from MS. She died from complications from MS. Usually it's pneumonia, or you can't swallow, or immune system fails you, or your body just breaks down. Matt, Troy, Russ Perry, Roger Barber. We need you, Roger. We need you more than ever now. Send us someone, Roger. We need a lawyer half as good as you, with half the testicular fortitude that you have. We'll accept that. We need that. We need someone to help us. I wonder if Bill Buckman should be on this list.
Yeah.
Probably, right?
Yeah. He stood with us when he could.
Okay.
He lawyered up for Chris and for Colleen.
William Buckman. He was my lawyer, too, when I was beat up by Al Crusher.
If you're going to wear Don't Shoot on white T-shirts, you must honor Bill Buckman because he just about lost his practice going all in on racial profiling on the Turnpike.
Yeah, that's right.
He was the man who took that on, and in talking with him, I had come to learn, a lot of bills were not going paid in that time period, and he had staff to take care of, and he kept it going, though. No telling what strain it put on him, though. Yeah, I miss Bill.
Jay Arletto died from a heroin overdose in December, and in November he called me asking me, how do I get my cannabis card? How do I do this? So I gave him the name of a doctor, and I pointed him in the right direction. But there was no way he's going to navigate the system. No way he had the money to navigate the system. No way he had the time. He couldn't wait. He needed a joint then. He wanted to smoke a joint. Couldn't get a joint, so there was the heroin 50 feet away. Let's go get the heroin. He was in the grip for years. It was easy. It was easy to get the heroin. He wanted the heroin. But he also wanted to get off that heroin. And cannabis would have helped him get off that heroin. Cannabis got me off opiates that I was on for 10 years. If I can get off 90 milligrams of Roxy every 3 hours, you can. My prescription was 90 milligrams every 3 hours. The doctors, I could show it to you. I saved the bottle. That's enough for a drug addict to be happy. For real. Drug addict would be like, whoa, that's great. I could go for that. So, sorry.
That's actually significantly more than street users are using.
Yeah.
Way, way more.
It's ridiculous. But I was using it all the time, so I wasn't even like getting, I was drooling on myself. I was a zombie, actually. Yeah, you're right. I was a freaking zombie. I didn't realize it. I was laying in bed all day doing nothing, playing video games, being a bum.
3 years in bed I was.
Sucked.
I was studying quantum physics, though.
Never again, man.
No video games for me.
Yep. Honeybee.
Be here today. They're not here as of yet. Like that early.
Is that 10?
Yes.
Yeah, where was this coming from? Where they ordered that?
My son Michael Dillon passed 2 years ago on March 5th.
The guy that ordered us not in today.
I've got seizure, and
where they're coming from.
it's amazing on how many people actually pass away from epilepsy and the complications of that. It's like, I was just reading, like 35,000 deaths each year. That's just way too many.
Okay, that's fine. Yeah, that's him. I'll give you that.
Not understanding.
Yeah, that guy, I can hear that guy in the background really loud, but that's all right. Yeah, your son, Michael, died from a drop seizure. And a lot of our patient friends are suffering from that. And yeah, so Honeybee, I'm sorry.
Thank you. Not easy.
I know. But we're going to remember your son every week on every podcast. And hopefully somebody will hear this, and maybe your son's story will change someone's life or will help someone, and that's all we can ask for. Maybe it'll give someone hope. You know, somebody could use some hope right now, and they're listening to this and they'll get some hope. Who knows how this works, but it works. In weird ways, but it works. And
it does. It does.
Let's find out together.
And we're here to help. We're here to help. So everyone give their tithe of 10% to help someone in need, because my son didn't have enough money to be able to afford his medicine. And, you know, this could have very well been avoided. So everyone please share.
Whenever you're ready, Honeybee.
All right, here we go. They shall grow not old, as we that are left grow old. Age shall not weary them, nor the years condemn. At the going down of the sun, and in the morning, we will remember them. We will